Oh man, I guess I should go live since I said I'd be live by now. Hi guys, good evening. Welcome to the show. I'm the Ranting Monkey. This is Monkey in the Morning. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a great day. And yeah, I've had a good one. I haven't fallen today, which is nice. Um, yeah, that when that's a win, you know your life is just on the right track. Physically, I mean. Otherwise, my life is wonderful and I have no complaints. But yeah, so a good day. Haven't fallen. I did have a couple of kind of moments with my brain today because I was reading Twitter, which I should know better by now, but I just can't help myself. I do have to talk about something with Twitter though. Have you guys seen the new Twitter thing where you can like type out whole books? I know people used to complain about the what was it 140 characters and it went up to 280 and there was it's still not enough. I don't want to read long essays on Twitter. To me, that's not what Twitter's for. And when I see him, look, if you go a little over the 280, and I have to click on it and it's like one line more, all right, I'll read that. If I click on your post and it's 14 paragraphs long, I'm not reading that shit. Not reading it. I'm just not. So, I mean, apparently some people are, and good for them. Twitter, I don't think you understand what your niche is. But I mean, hey, I don't run the place. Elon can do what he wants, I suppose. People have been asking for more characters for a long time. So maybe this will, help. But I'm not reading the shit. I shouldn't be whining about Twitter. I should have better things to whine about. I really should, but I don't do all that much in a day, guys. Don't be cripple. You get very limited choices on what you get to bitch about. I do love my Twitter though. You guys know that. I love my dumpster fire over there, and it was one today. Where again, I was called a transphobe again, guys, because apparently that's something that has to happen every goddamn day, every gosh darn day. Trying to be more family friendly around these parts. Uh I was called a transphobe because I said that trans activism is a blight on the LGB community. And apparently that meant I hate all trans people. And then I was told that I think all trans people are activists. That shows that I think trans people themselves are a blight. I've literally said the opposite repeatedly on this very show. And yeah, unlike your game streams, this isn't running at 3 frames per minute. Oh, so last night I was doing my game stream, right? And it just goes to crap. I've been having issues with my internet and I wasn't even sure we were going to be able to do it. First hour, it's running very well, very well. And then it just goes to shit. And I cannot figure out why. Usually there's something I can point to. So we wrap up the stream and me and Bubba are talking for a minute. And I I hear something like, what the hell is that? And I move my headphone back. It's raining like hell outside. It was raining like fuck. So that explains why the satellite went down last night. But yeah, I had the headphones on. I couldn't hear it. There was no thunder or lightning, which is usually how I tell that there's a storm going on. But yeah, it was just rain, which is cool because we need some rain anyhow. But yes, my little stalker friend Eufia was at it again. I mean, look, dude, if I'm as bad as you say, you don't have to make shit up. You don't have to. You can just tell the truth. It's not like I'm not on the microphone, what, 14 hours a week at least? At least? You can pick any show. Any show. We tend to cover the same topics over and over. Hopefully we stretch them out enough where it's not repetitive, but just tune in once in a while and you'll hear. But no, he thinks all trans people are activists. I've never said anything close to that stupid shit. What the hell are you talking about? Ah, there is a moment in your brain as a creator where you're just getting lied about. And you're like, I don't even know what to say to you right now. Because You're just lying. Tall person, thank you. Hoy, y'all. I've had terrible sleep schedule lately. At least I get to catch Monkey in the Morning live. Happy Chocolate Day. Oh, to you as well, sir. And thank you so much for the donation. Yeah, and you know what? Luckily, I'm a small enough creator that it's just a random loser on Twitter, sometimes here on YouTube once in a while. I don't know how the bigger creators deal with the kind of shit they end up dealing with. Some of what the bigger creators deal with is brought on themselves, but they get lied about just like everyone else. I don't understand the need to lie about people like that. I really don't. The Anna Kasparian thing comes to mind. We'll talk about Destiny a little later, but I was watching Destiny today as I was playing some Diablo 4, and he was covering when Anna Kasparian was on with I keep wanting to say Lilo and Stitch, with Adam and Sitch. And I hadn't seen much of the interview, but Destiny was doing a reply to it or a response to it, and I was listening along that way. I'll still go and watch it because I want to see the whole thing. But Anna goes on and tells us what really started her journey, not to the right, guys. She's not moving right. It's more like she's digging her heels in where she is, or at least, digging her heels into maybe mid 2021, maybe mid 2020. Still far left, but not willing to go into mid 2023 land. So her reason for it wasn't the whole woman thing. That's just the latest in this chapter. Apparently what it was she was reporting on the crime wave that happened during the pandemic. So she's reporting on the crime wave, and people like, there's no crime wave. And she's like, but there is. No, there's no crime wave. And she's like, I was physically assaulted. Then she tells the story of how she was assaulted. She was leaning over to pick up her dog's poop, because you got to do that if you walk your dog in public. And a couple of homeless guys come up behind her, and one of them grabs her by the hips, apparently with a hard on, still through the clothes, and dry humped her. Yeah, I don't think that's cool. I wish they would have caught the guy who did it to her. Unfortunately, they got away. But she's living through the crime spike, and she tells this story. And you know what people say? You know what people say? You're just doing racial stereotypes. Now, in that story, did you hear me tell the color of the guy who grabbed her by the hips and dry humped her? Thank you, Mighty Balzac. Monkey, I judge you on the character of your content. I appreciate that. I really do. Well, yeah, did you guys hear me say that? She hadn't either. She didn't say the color of the guy who assaulted her. Now, on Adam and Sitch's show, she tells, yeah, it was a couple of white guys. But all her lefty friends were trying to convince her that there's not a crime problem in fucking LA. They're like, no, you're just being racist. It's being racist to point out you were assaulted, I guess. I don't know. I don't fucking know. But yeah, that's apparently where the rift started. So she hasn't actually come right, you guys. She's just dug her heels and like, no, reality's reality, and there is a crime wave going on. And like, no. Frosty Glass, thank you. Overton window totally hasn't shifted left, guys. I know, right? The Overton window is so far left. I there's nothing even to compare it to. We used to go anything right of Mao, but I don't even know how fucking far this thing's gonna keep going. Hey, what's up, Beast Boy? How you doing tonight, my friend? So, yeah, I was very interested in that. And it was funny hearing her basically say a lot of the same things that I've heard Destiny say. Because I know a lot of you don't like Destiny, and that's perfectly fine. But Destiny is not as far left as people think he is. He's still a lefty. I'm not taking that away at all. Of course, he's still left, but he's not as far left as you might think. And while he still does do a little bit of his own gaslighting stuff, which we'll get to in a little bit, if I had to deal with lefties who were only as bad as Steven, I don't think I've ever called Destiny by his first name before. His name is Stephen Bunnell. Usually when he's in public, he goes by Stephen. I'm not doxing or anything. I'm perfectly fine saying his name. So sorry. But if all we had to deal with were lefties like Stephen, the world would be a better place. It wouldn't be that bad. The Overton window would still be, in a somewhat normal space. Now, it doesn't mean, like I said, that I agree with him on everything, because of course not. Of course not, especially him being a lefty and me being certainly more right by today's standards. What's up, Jack? How are you tonight, my friend?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I am pretty decent, actually. Thank you.
Nice.
The fall didn't happen today. I'm good. But anyway, I was just telling the audience, I was watching more of the Adam and Sitch thing, and I found out what actually started Anna down her path of, all right, I'm not going that way anymore.
Oh yeah.
And it was people telling her during the crime wave that there wasn't a crime wave happening. That's a real thing that happened. The people on the look, we dealt with it. There were a lot of people like, no, there's no actual crime wave. And then they'd point to statistics and be like, look, murder's down in the city. And it was down by like 10%, which depending on the city is like 20 people. Good job. Meanwhile, the violent crime is fucking skyrocketed and they ignored the shit out of it. Like, hey, armed robbery's up and rape is up and physical assault is up. But hey, at least murder's down. Didn't you see murder's down?
Well, I mean, that murder being down is super important unless you're the one getting, murdered.
Murder being down is great unless you're the one being raped. You know what I mean?
True.
As you're laying there with some guy you don't know pounding into you, you just think, oh, thank God, at least I'm not being murdered. You know what I mean? That's the normal reaction. But that's what they did. That's during the crime wave. That was the lefty thing because, oh, they're just trying to make it sound. Nobody on the right was saying black people are out there murdering everybody or raping it. Nobody said that. But it became a racist thing for the left because everything fucking has to be racist with them. Oh,
obviously, bigot.
You just think the blacks are out there doing bad stuff. Nobody said that, fucker. And so instead of just admitting, yes, there was a crime wave, they were like, oh, you guys are just racist. No, fuck off. You're liars. That's what it is. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting that that's what kicked it off. And apparently there've been a couple more that leads up to the whole trans thing with, sorry, I'm not giving up that woman is a real thing. Which is interesting because we're going to be talking about what a woman is tonight, Jack. We have... oh, go ahead.
Oh, isn't that a song by Christina Aguilera?
I don't know.
Yeah, what a girl wants, what a girl needs.
No, I said what a girl makes her is. Happy.
Oh, I don't know. That sounds like a bigoted right-wing talking point. Sorry, Matt Walsh.
Now, since we're talking about Destiny, this clip involves him, and there's a couple of things I need to preface this with. First of all, I don't know what show this is from, Jack. The clip we're going to watch. No idea. Never seen the two young-looking dudes who aren't too bright. I don't recognize the set. I don't know when this is from. Destiny does have his blue hair, but it looks like it's faded more like it is right now. So it may be very, very recent. But this could be older and his mind changed and he's just, re-dyed his hair a couple of times. I don't fucking know when it's from. So this might not even be his opinion anymore. However, it's an important, instructive video, Jack. Not because it's destiny, but because he does some bullshit, some language bullshit that we see the left do all the time. And it's rare we get such a great instructive example.
Uh-huh.
So whether or not he still believes it, it is a good video to check out. The other thing is it might be a little quiet. I don't know how well it's going to come through. Oh, the other thing I do need to point out is this has also obviously been cut up, which since I don't know what podcast it came from, I can't make sure everything's in perfect, that everything is actually in context the way it should be.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that it is. But there's definite jump cuts in this. So few disclaimers just so nobody's like, you took him out of context.
Also, for the record, he's a manlet.
I'm just going by the video itself because, again, it is instructive. I've told you guys many times, you control the language and you control everything. And that's just true. If you can get people only speaking one way, well, basically, you're getting them to only think one way. If you're getting them to not say X, Y, or Z, well, then you never have to worry about X, Y, or Z. It's verboten. And holy shit. Seal, thank you so much. Who says, thanks, Monk and Jack, for you both. Keep up the good work. Now, before I get into what that was, Seal, if you're in chat, please just let me know that you meant to do that. Because if not, we'll fix it. Very generous donation from Seal. And
oh, thanks, Seal.
Even if you didn't mean it that way, we still appreciate it. Thank you. Now, this is also very fast. Did it on purpose. Okay, thank you so very much for the $150 donation, Jack.
Oh, wow. Thanks, man.
Thank you so very much. And yeah, I will be splitting that with him right after the show. Yay. All right, so language, Jack. Seal done fucked me up. I was getting ready to get into my ranty phase for this, and he just made me happy. Damn it, Seal.
All right. Let's see. Gish galloping, disingenuous argument. As blue hair makes him look smelly. Am I warming you up here?
No, because that's all stuff you care about, not me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like I said, I watch Destiny. I don't do it as much as I used to, Jack, and it's not because he's done anything to make me not want to or anything. It's just that, I go in cycles of what I'm watching. And every so often I'll still check in on something that Destiny's done, but these days I'm more into watching stuff that makes me laugh.
Yeah.
By the way, if you guys haven't seen it, there is a new pitch meeting came out today about the Dial of Destiny. It's a Destiny show tonight. Seal, good God, thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs. That is so very kind.
Damn.
Thank you, dude. How am I going to get in a grumpy ass mood? I guess I should watch the video. That would do it. Seal, thank you. That is so very generous, my friend. Very, very kind of you. All right. I need to stretch out a little for this one. Because I'm not going to lie, this one, it annoyed me just a little bit. It's an excellent example of how the left controls language by gaslighting you. Yeah. This is what we're about to watch is gaslighting. Now, I'm waiting a second. I'm talking slowly so that all of the alerts come up because they take a second to come up before we start watching the video. As we do that, Jack, did I send you the link at dinner time?
No, I was watching a video and didn't pay attention to my Twitter.
Damn it. I was trying.
Sorry.
I was like, it's getting close to 1:00. He's probably eating right now.
No, that's a really good guess, actually. But no, I was just watching some videos and not really paying attention. Kind of zoned out.
I was playing a video game, and then after this, I'll be playing a video game. Guys, I'm just for the record, I'm not streaming tonight after this. Typically, I would, Jack, but Yeah, not tonight. Not tonight, guys. I have a headache. Oh shit, Jack. The other day I got a migraine for the first time in forever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know why? I know why it happened. I let myself get dehydrated on one of the really hot days we had.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was stupid. Once I was rehydrated, popped a couple, and by a couple I mean 5 Motrin. It was all better.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's easier as you get older to get dehydrated.
I hadn't had a migraine in a decade, probably, easily. So when that shit hit me, I was mad. It wasn't even the pain that was bothering me. I was just pissed off. I'm like, I shouldn't be dealing with this anymore. All right. With
quick.
all the thanks to Seal. Thank you. Go ahead, Jack.
Thank you, Keldrick. If you donate enough money to Monkey, his hair will suck your dick.
That's not true, but still. All right. Let's go ahead and get into this video.
So when a conservative walks in and like, what is a woman? Like there's like some concrete definitive answer.
There's a concrete definitive answer of what a woman is. I don't know what to tell these people, but he's going to give us an example so we know how confusing this topic is, Jack. Have you seen this video?
No.
Oh, God. Just wait for it. Get your gas masks on, guys, because it's about to be gassed up in here.
Definitive answer. Gender is very, very, very complicated. When you say one word, there's a bunch of peripheral things that kind of like light up next to that word. But to define a word exactly is very challenging.
We have whole books that do that, Jack. We call them dictionaries.
Yeah. Clearly he's never read one.
And they weren't all that challenging until the last decade or so when they started adding all kinds of shit that don't make sense. Like having the definition of literal mean figurative.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
When I say chair, a whole bunch of things come to mind immediately. Maybe the color brown, maybe wood, maybe 4 legs. There's a whole bunch of things. But if I try to say like exactly what is a chair.
Yep, he's going there. What is a chair?
Oh my God. So fucking stupid.
Any and all of these things could theoretically be up for debate. Like, is a beanbag chair a chair? Is a chair with 3 legs a chair? Obviously. What about a chair with no back? For instance, if I say chair and I say table, there's a lot of the same concepts light up, right? So broadly speaking, that's how we view language.
Broadly speaking, Jack, a chair is kind of like a table. It's basically, it's easy to confuse the two.
Yeah,
because you can't. It's so hard to define a chair.
Yeah, because you associate words with other things, so therefore it's super confusing.
A piece of furniture made for a single person to sit on is so fucking hard to define.
It is.
Shit! I might have just done it.
Oh, shh! Don't tell him.
Just because there are different kinds of chairs doesn't mean a chair is hard to define. That it's asinine. If you go to your friend's house and they're like, "Hey, throw your shit on the chair over there," and you're like, "I only see a table." I call my table a chair. Okay, that doesn't make him correct though, and you're not going to start going, "Well, I guess tables are chairs now."
No, I would just make fun of my friend for being an idiot.
Yeah.
Use the flat chair that we put coffee on.
Yeah.
What?
But this is how the left. That's why I named this "Learn to Speak Like the Left," because that's what it is. Instead of just admitting that we know what a woman is, and that if you want to go out there and talk about trans women, there's a reason we call them trans women, because they're not biological women. That biological women are a thing. Instead of just admitting that, they have to pretend that language is so damn difficult to understand. Like as though we literally are already living in the Tower of Babel and nobody understands a goddamn thing anyone else is saying. Like, let's say he goes to his friend's house and he goes, "Hey, just throw your jacket on the chair." And Steven's going to look around and see what everybody else would see are chairs and go, I don't see any chairs here. Could you define the chair a little bit more specifically for me?
Yeah, I mean, how do you know that a plant doesn't identify as a chair, you bigot?
Snubber says, Socrates' crap, he's being deliberately facetious. Yes, and that's what this, and it's a gaslighting thing. It really is. It's to make you believe that you actually think like this. Like, oh, you're right. There are different kinds of chairs.
Well,
yeah, but we still recognize they're chairs.
Yeah, there's still part of this. I can see a wiener dog and still think dog, while looking at a German Shepherd and also seeing a dog. They're both dogs, but they're different types of dogs, different breeds, if you will. So it's a facetious argument coming from a place of superiority because he thinks we're all stupid.
This is a very common leftist tactic when it comes to things like anytime they want to redefine a word because they're full of shit.
Yeah.
It's not the first time we've ever seen this kind of shit.
No.
It's just very, very easy to spot in the trans debate. Because when they come up and say, what is a woman? Like there's a definitive answer. There is one. Just because women are different doesn't mean there's not one thing that defines them, adult, human, female, that sets them apart from girls, boys, and men. Those are 4 different categories. And we saw, he's about to talk about What is a Woman and Jordan Peterson in it. But we saw during What is a Woman, if you guys watched it, Matt Walsh go up to people on the street and ask them about what is a woman. And many of them repeated the nonsense that we've been hearing. Well, whatever, if you feel like a woman, then you're a woman. That's not what woman means. And if that's how we had our definitions, you know, this nonsense about, hey, it's just so complicated to define a chair. By their definition of, if you feel like a woman, then you're a woman. Well, what if I feel like a chair is the thing I drive to work every day? The whole thing with all 4 tires, the engine, the 4 doors, the trunk. Well, I feel like that's a chair today.
Yeah, they're all an extension of the chair within.
In fact, I believe every object that I come in contact with is a chair.
Well, if you could sit on it, it must be a chair.
I believe even if you can't sit on it, it's a chair.
Oh, it could be an art piece. You're right.
Literally everything is a chair.
Wow.
That is the final extension of this bullshit. Is that literally words have no meaning because they're hard to define, guys. You mean that word that literally has a definition in no less than 4 different major dictionaries?
Look, dictionaries are the devil's linguistics because they're so limiting. I mean, you say this thing is a potato, but how do I know what it feels like it is?
All right.
When Matt Walsh asked him, what is a woman? Jordan Peterson's answer is relatively insightful. He says things like, well, maybe you'd have a better chance looking at temperament than like or temperament rather than gender. And I think at the very end, he says, I don't even know if he knows it's as insightful as it was when he said it. I think he said, if you want to know what a woman is, why don't you go out and marry one and find out or something? Which is actually how we do explore language. You go
All right. One, Jordan was being a little bit facetious there. He was making kind of a joke.
Yeah.
But all right, this is how we find language, right? Is that if you want to know what a woman is, go out there and marry one. How the fuck am I going to marry one if I don't know what one is? Am I just going to start randomly marrying people until I find the woman in the group?
Yes, apparently.
It's so insightful. It was a goddamn joke. And it's not all that insightful. It's
a joke.
If you take that at its literal best, You literally just have to keep marrying random people until you find the woman. How are you going to know it's a woman before you marry them if the only way to know it's a woman is to marry them? I don't understand, Jack.
I don't either.
Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the most infuriating part of this is about to come up. And I just want to warn you, because here we go.
But into the world, you associate concepts with things, and that's how it goes. So in that sense, the film is interesting in that like Jordan Peterson does actually give way more nuanced responses than I would have thought. But I hate the topic because it brushes over so many really complicated aspects of how language and ontology and categories are used and constructed and how they exist, just to try to like own trans people, which I think is really dumb. I think you can be like pro or against trans people, but like at the very least, like treat like language with the due respect it has. But
yep, he just said that.
Wow.
At the very least, treat language with the due respect it deserves. After telling us, you can get really confused if somebody tells you to go sit in that chair. Go chair. In order to know what a chair is, I have to marry one.
I guess. You have to just keep buying things till you find a chair.
Fuck. When it got to that part, my brain just went, no. We're done. I can't process this shit. How do you go from arguing that it's hard to define woman or chair and suggest that Peterson's joke is right, that you have to marry a woman before you can ever know what one is, to saying out loud without irony that you have to be respectful of language? He even says in that little clip we just watched, that's how we learn. If we go out and interact with things, that's not how we learn language. We learn language when we're very young, and as we grow, you keep learning, Jack. But when you're very young, your parent hands you a plate and goes plate. Your parent hands you a carrot and goes carrot. Your parent points to the cat and goes cat. That's how we learn. It's because we're told what the fucking things mean. We're shown what they mean, Jack. And if you can't fucking define them, how can you be shown? If your kid is too dumb that every time you point to something, he says chair, and he keeps doing that until he's in his 50s, he's probably drooling on himself and has an adult caretaker.
Yeah. Well, the plebs, they just don't understand, Monkey, because they're dumb. So only the special people can define the words for us, so we have to wait for them to instruct us.
This is just nonsensical. But it's how this shit is being pushed. And again, control language, you control everything. You convince people that language has no meaning. Words mean whatever you need them to mean. Whatever you need them to mean. And it's how this nonsense grows. It's how this nonsense has taken hold, because they've convinced people of this stupid shit. Like, no, seriously, man. You can't really define a woman because, sometimes women can't have babies. If all things were equal, would they be able to have babies? Well, yeah, but sometimes they have an extra chromosome. All right, if all things were equal, would they have the right number? Well, yeah, they always have an excuse, just to get around the fact that there actually is a definition that they just don't fucking like. And at least, Jack, if they'd come out and go, I don't like that definition, at least I'd have a little fucking respect because it'd be honest.
Yeah, well, that can't be honest.
You don't have to like the definition. Keldrick, thank you. It always amazes me that people are surprised that Jordan B. Peterson, a clinical psychiatrist, a college professor, and a highly educated man, can provide nuance. Like fucking hell, all you have to do is pay attention to him just a little bit to understand. Yeah, true.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that because they don't like him. So he must be cult leader Dumb.
Yeah, Jordan has been lied about so many times. Starting with when he first gets famous with the whole bullshit up there with Bill C-16. That's what it was,
Mhm.
right? C-16.
I think so.
Where he's just saying, you can't force me to use this language. He didn't say he wouldn't call trans people by their preferred pronoun. He just, you're not going to force me to do it. And like, you hate trans people. That's not what he said at all. In fact, he was very respectful to the trans people who were being really shitty to him during that one outdoor event. They were being horrible to him, and he was still respectful to them.
Yeah.
Snubber, thank you. Oh, tagged you both in it. You see that artificial womb they put in a doll on Twitter. Comments are good. Mine are a good mind of hypocrisy. I saw that you tagged us in it, but I've not had any chance to pay attention to it.
Kind of creeped me out, so I skipped it. I mean, people keep sending it to me, but it's kind of gross.
This is important to me, Jack, because language does matter. Language should matter. We have to be able to communicate. For all of the regressive shit we've seen, taking away our ability to effectively communicate, that's just asking for trouble. I don't understand why they want it. I mean, I do. Because like I said just a moment ago, they don't like the definition, so they got to rechange it so they can be right. I just don't understand how they don't see how fucking bad that is. How regressive that is. How making it so two people supposedly speaking the same language can't have a conversation because they're using entirely different definitions for the words they're using, that's going to cause problems.
I don't know. You see, they don't care though, Monkey.
Oh man, it's infuriating.
Real quick, thank you, Travis Gardner. This reminds me of the VP trying to define culture today. Well, she's pretty dumb, so
we'll watch that later.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is just because they want to control how people think, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
But also it gives them a sense of arrogance because they're the ones setting the standard. They get a sense of control and power that way.
Not just that, I'm smarter than you too. How do you not know that there's more than one way to define a chair?
Yeah. I'm sure Stephen has several degrees in grammar and linguistics, but I don't think he is qualified, despite any of those potential degrees, to tell me the etymology of words or the true definition of what a woman is. Sorry, I don't have faith that he's that qualified.
Even if he were, I would disagree with him on this because this point wrong. Makes no sense.
Yeah, he's just wrong.
Yeah, I saw this one and just got instantly irritated. Anyhow, Jack, moving along from Destiny, I have other things to talk about tonight because, of course, I do. It's what I do, Jack.
That's true.
Oh, no, not that retard. Oh, man, I was so sad. The Krasensteins were having a debate tonight and it got canceled.
Did somebody's wiener get stuck in somebody's butt?
No, they were both there, but Dave Smith, do you know who Dave Smith is, the comedian?
Oh, the one from Full House?
Is he from Full House?
I don't know. The blonde guy from Full House?
That's not his name.
Oh, I don't know.
No, this is a libertarian comic. And he was supposed to be there. They're supposed to do it at 9:15 tonight. But he was in Central Time, so he was off by an hour.
Oh.
So instead, they did a Q&A with the audience, and they're going to do it next week. And it's when it first starts out, they're trying to figure out where Dave is, and I think I can't remember. I think it was Brian Krasenstein. Maybe it was Ed. He goes, I think he's just afraid of the red circles.
The red circles? Is that a
Yeah,
cult?
when people talk, there's a red circle or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know how the spaces thing works, but sometimes people have a red circle around their head.
Oh.
It was just the saddest "you're scared of me" thing I've ever heard in my life. If you see the Krasenstein guys, they have like no body fat on them. They obviously work out and stuff. So you might think like, oh, these guys probably sound like men. Not even close. But I was looking forward to them try to argue that Biden isn't a shitbag because that was apparently the debate.
Wow.
And yeah, they're trying to rebrand themselves as uniters, Jack. And Elon is signal boosting the shit out of these two idiots. I don't know why. I'm guessing. I have a theory because they have ingratiated themselves to the Twitter Spaces community, and he's still trying to push Twitter Spaces, and he started following and signal boosting several people that go on these basic streams.
Oh.
And they've been very, very prominent, which is funny because they're finally going to get their moment in the sun, just for everybody to see how fucking stupid they are. They should stay on a small stage, Jack, because they're dumb.
Yeah, they are. Maybe that's part of Elon's reasoning too, because it'll be funny.
Well, to give you a for instance of how dumb they are, yesterday we talked about the cocaine found in the White House.
Indeed.
And we talked about how the Krasensteins like it's probably not hunters.
Mm-hmm.
We got a little more information about the cocaine at the White House today, Jack. If you guys recall yesterday's show, the White House, a la Corinne Jean-Pierre, came out and told us that this cocaine was found in basically an entranceway where people come on tours with staff members, and it's near the West Wing, but it's not like inside. It's like an entranceway, and you stop and you drop off phones, is what they told us.
Yeah, they've changed the location like 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah, and today's was interesting because today they said, yeah, it was found very near the Situation Room. The White House Situation Room. This is well into the West Wing. This is not near any fucking cubbies you would be dropping off phones as you first enter the building. And there damn sure should be cameras right outside the Situation Room.
You would hope.
But old Ed, he decided, with the new information, he's going to change his view a little bit. Breaking, according to reports, the cocaine that was found in the White House was found near the Situation Room, which was a more secure area. You think the Situation Room is more secure than the White House entrance? Really?
Well, he would think that because he's an idiot.
I mean, there may be, it might be harder to get in there, but anyway. This means normal tours likely would not have led to the incident taking place. To me, there has to be cameras in the White House. Yesterday, he had no thoughts on there being cameras in the White House. At the fucking door.
I mean, who would have thought of such a thing? I mean, what purpose could that possibly serve?
If working properly, they should be able to detect who left the cocaine in a specific location. But he still doesn't think it's Hunter. He actually said on the Spaces debate that they were supposed to have tonight that, and maybe it was his brother because they both sound, sorry, homosexuals, but they sound gay. It's hard to tell them apart because they're twins and they both sound like seriously gay. But they said they think that if it had been Hunter, the Secret Service would have hit it. It's like, way to read the comments on Twitter yesterday, fucknut. You're well ahead of the curve. I hate these two assholes, Jack. I really, really do. But speaking of this whole thing, who is this? Biden mid-level staffer Andrew Bates. He was asked about this today. And while we do not have video, Jack, we have audio of it.
Oh, not as good, but
Yeah, so it's audio only. Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates, he's at the gaggle on board Air Force One en route to South Carolina. And this happens.
One more, former President Trump has made some pretty wild posts recently on social media. One of them was that the cocaine found in the White House had belonged to either the president or his son. Are you willing to say that that's not the case, that they don't belong to them?
Pretty straightforward question, Jack. Have you seen this clip?
No, but I bet there's a lot of dancing involved.
Oh, you will. It'll blow your fucking mind. The question is very simple. Will you say that cocaine is not Hunter or Joe Biden's? Very simple question. You can even say, no, I won't say that because I don't know and I don't want to accidentally lie to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you can say, absolutely, yes, it's not theirs. I'm positive of it because I'm the one who dropped it. Whatever. But very, very straightforward question. And this fucking answer. All right, here we go.
I don't have a response to that because we have to be careful about the Hatch Act.
I can't answer whether or not it's Joe or Hunter Biden's cocaine because of the act that says, as a member of the government, when I'm in my active role with the government, I can't campaign.
Somebody else actually used this excuse today, too.
Did they?
Yeah, Karine Jean-Pierre.
Did she really?
Yeah.
So this talking point's probably coming from her.
Yeah. Somebody high up in the administration has come up with this.
Oh, she loves to hide behind the Hatch Act, even though she violates it constantly.
Yep.
Anytime she doesn't want to answer a question, instead of circling back like Jen Psaki did, it becomes a Hatch Act institutionalized issue. Like what? We can't say whether it's Joe or Hunter's cocaine because, to violate the Hatch Act. And seriously, for those of you who don't know, the Hatch Act just says that federal employees or government employees are not allowed to campaign while they're during like working hours or working events. You can't use your office to campaign. Answering that question wouldn't be running for office in any way. Now, they could say, hey, we're not going to respond to Trump. But that wasn't the question. He used the Trump setup just to say that, hey, there are people out there, specifically Trump, who say it's probably theirs. And then the question was, will you say it's not theirs? That's all. Will you say, I can't. I'll probably get a fine from the FEC if I do. How? So was it the Coke cartels? Was it the Coke cartels that were lobbying his campaign? Well, Faithless, that would make a little sense, I guess. The only way it makes sense is if the cocaine is somehow linked to the campaign. And I don't know how it would be in a way that would violate the Hatch Act. Federal drug laws, sure. But was it a campaign donation? I mean, there you go, Peter. That might be a way that it violates the Hatch Act. But this fucking retard. Oh, the Hatch Act. Shut up. Press, you pieces of shit. You guys should be all over them anytime they use this nonsense.
Don't be a monster, monkey.
You should be demanding to know how in the hell that would violate the... You don't have to give me the answer. Fine, you said Hatch Act. But how the fuck are those related?
Well, if you knew the definition of a chair, you'd understand.
I know, right? I understand that these guys have to, keep their jobs and shit. And if they piss off the president, there's a good chance that their editor will be like, we're we're going to assign you to the old ladies watering flowers department of the newspaper. But how can you stand there and let yourself be lied to like that? How can you literally have no integrity?
Apparently, it's pretty easy.
Do you know how fucking insulting that answer is? Jesus Christ.
Oh, they just assume that you're all dumb.
Well, when it comes to the press, I'm not ruling out that they're all dumb.
Yeah, but that's the press because, well, they're just useful idiots.
Speaking of useful idiots in the press, that's a good segue into our next piece, Jack.
Uh-oh.
So we've been talking about the case Missouri versus Biden, the one we talked about the other day. The people who brought the case against Biden, the CDC, the FBI, all of these other government organizations for interfering with their First Amendment rights by pressuring different social media companies to kick them off.
Uh-huh.
Well, we had ourselves a nice reporter who wrote about it for the New York Times. I'm gonna put. Hang on. I got to go grab the archive because their page slows down my computer.
Oh.
No, here's the archive link. I'm gonna throw it to you guys if you want to read it. I want to concentrate on one specific line. Well, not one line, one paragraph, Jack. So this is from what's his name? Michael Shear. He is the White House correspondent for the New York Times. And he writes this piece about it, Jack. And in it, he lists a couple of examples of things that this case is about. Very vague examples, like COVID misinformation. The 20 different things that the judge laid out that the White House specifically did, several which are quite clearly intimidation, quite clearly you will do this, including one where he goes, this goes all the way to the White House. And I mean the very top.
Oh.
Yeah, not threatening anybody with the president. Those completely missing from the story.
Oh, well, I mean, it's
However,
convenient. I understand.
However, he does bring up that sometimes Twitter did say no to these guys.
Oh, like twice?
So I read his article and come across this. Administration officials argued in the case that they did not unlawfully pressure the social media companies. Instead, they say the government had a responsibility to combat the spread of incorrect information through discussion with the company. Hey, Jack, do you know of any law that says that the government needs to combat me saying that Kamala Harris has 3 titties?
I think it's under the First Amendment in the penumbra.
Must be in the penumbra. But this is a reporter. He does not go on to go, that's nonsense. The job of correcting misinformation would be the press. Because that would be your job, shitbag. That would be your job, not the administration, not the government. That'd be your job.
Well, see, misinformation is very hard to define, Monkey, because it really comes down to, do I like this and my feelings about it? Because that's
Right.
how I know.
Yeah. They're fine with it as long as it's what they want to believe.
Yeah.
They were okay with people getting shut down. And there were several people who came out today with long lists of bullshit that we were told were lies, and we can't get into them, Jack, because we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
But most of which, even in YouTube's terms, turned out to be, full of shit.
Yep. Oh, real quick. Thank you, Frosted Glass. I've got it. A debate between Destiny and the Insane Clown Posse. The topic, are chairs magnets? Tell me you won't pay to see that. I would watch it. I won't pay for it.
I wouldn't pay for it either, but yeah, I'd watch that. I don't understand these journalists who have no respect for their own job. I'm not built that way, Jack. And if somebody was basically insulting me like this, if somebody was basically going, "You're not even needed. That's what we do," I'd be like, "Man, maybe it's just the rebel in me." I would just be, "Nah, you need to go fuck yourself." In fact, that would make me look at you harder rather than just agreeing with you. It's Big Daddy government's job to make sure that we're being told the right things.
Well,
Go fuck yourself.
You have to capitulate or suffer the consequences, pleb.
They're not journalists, they're propagandists. You're not wrong, Peter. Most of them are. And I say most just because I don't know of all of them. I want to see you guys do a stream with Jim Medicare. I would love to talk to Medicare.
I'm terrified to talk to Medicare. Once you attract the attention of the internet god, oh man, that's a lot of pressure. I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't want to like argue with him on anything. I would more like to pick his brain on stuff.
Well, he's a pretty smart dude, so
he is. He's very clever. Not just smart, but clever.
Yeah. I'll never forget. I was watching one of his videos with my brother, and in the video he says, and I got pushed back online or something like that, and he posts an image of some comment he made, and then somebody responding to it, and the response was one of his other accounts.
Nice.
The Mr. Antsy Bully account. I'm like, that's son of a bitch, because it took me like 3 viewings to figure that out.
Rodline says is he still alive? I don't know. I haven't heard about his health in a while.
Yeah, it sounds like he's not doing real well from what I've heard, but I don't know. I don't know where he posts.
Lesser Logic says Medicare super chatted on COG's stream the other day when they were ripping on Ralph. Are we positive it was the Medicare?
Yeah, there's a lot of impersonators, but hey, I hope he's doing okay. The internet's not the same without Medicare. And there's a lot of really, really lame people out there that are pale imitations of Medicare. Even if they say something funny occasionally, they're not Medicare. That man he's a trickster god. He's ascending to the next level. He's not dying.
Well, most of the I'm going to get this off the screen because this is unimportant anymore. Most of the people inspired by Medicare miss the main point of just have fun.
Yeah. They're there for other reasons. And Medicare, that's why I call him a trickster god, because he's just there to have fun. He doesn't give a fuck about what you're saying or doing.
Now, in fairness, there were a few times you could tell that he actually cared about something.
Yeah.
And you could tell because there was anger in his voice. But yeah, for the most part, he was just pointing and having fun. And even in the ones where he was, angry about something, he didn't hold on to it. He moved on to the next thing. Snubber, thank you. There was a joke today of Ralph's tweet about unavailing himself that Jim will outlive Ralph.
Unaliving.
Oh, unaliving himself. Sorry. I haven't been paying any attention to what's going on with Ralph. That guy's just such a fucking disaster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Jim outlived Ralph.
No.
That would be irony level 9, which I mean, that's just sort of Jim's deal. He's right on the mark for that. So,
did Ralph put out a tweet saying he was going to commit suicide?
Probably. I mean, would it surprise you? Because he's kind of an attention whore.
And yeah, I mean, where else are you going to go after you've done everything?
That man has fucked himself over. It's hard to feel sorry for him anymore.
Ralph worded a tweet like he was depressed severely to that point. Oh, yeah, he blocked me.
It's just the booze talking, probably.
Or sorry to say it, the boogie method.
Yeah. Look, Ethan is a attention whore. And he's an e-bagger, and he's kind of a giant baby. He can't handle criticism, and he's also incredibly narcissistic and arrogant. So the guy had a lot of potential, and he just constantly screwed himself over at every chance. And I think a lot of that was his booze habits.
I think you're not giving enough credit to the pills.
Maybe,
his-
but anyway, Ralph.
While he certainly is an alcoholic, he is also a pill popper. Clearly, that one stream, man, God, he was so fucked up.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them where I'm like, that dude is flying high, but it's really tragic in a way because he had the kill stream going and it was really, really popular, but every chance he got, he sabotaged himself. It's like watching the Republican Party. You just constantly are like, how are you fucking up this bad? How are you this incompetent at your job?
This next thing I want to share with you, this is a very old story, Jack. It's from 1974, June 1st of 1974.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it seems like a really old story, right?
Maybe.
It's about Joseph Biden.
Oh, dear.
And apparently after this whole thing came out, Joe decided to be a little bit more discreet when talking to the press. Now we're just going to look at a couple of clips from the article. I threw the article into chat if anybody wants to read the full thing. But my beautiful millionaire wife was a conservative Republican before she met me, but she changed her registration. At first, she didn't want me to run for Senate. We had such a beautiful thing going, and we knew all those stories about what politics can do to a marriage. She didn't want that to happen. At first, she stayed at home with the kids while I campaigned, but that didn't work out because I'd come back too tired to talk to her. I might satisfy her in bed, but I didn't have much time for anything else.
Wow, inappropriate, especially for the 70s.
Why the fuck would you tell that to a reporter? Dude. But that's all right. That's not the worst one, Jack. He defines politics as power. And this is a quote from him now. And whether you like it or not, young lady, he says, leaning over his desk to shake a finger at me, us cruddy politicians can take away that First Amendment of yours if we want to.
What?
Yeah. This is what Joe Biden thought he could do in 1974. Now, Jack, here's my favorite. In the senator-only elevator, he says hello to several colleagues. Senator William Proxmire pops the question, "Hi, Joe, how are you? I understand you're going to be getting married soon." The Wisconsin senator obviously read the recent UPI story about Biden and Francine Bernard, a Capitol Hill reporter from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Since he has another reporter with him, me, Biden is flustered. He tries to make a joke out of it. Turning to Senator Thomas Eagleton, he says, "Be careful, Tom. Miss Kelly's with the press, and she's here to check out those rumors about your marriage bust-up." Eagleton smoothly changes the subject as we walk back to the office. Biden tells a joke with an anti-Semitic punchline and asks that it be off the record.
Well, technically, they did follow that request.
I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. To get the heat off of him, Biden turns and like, oh, his marriage is falling apart. Fuck. And then to make things better, he tells an anti-Jewish joke. Well done, sir. Well done.
That's one way to try and change the narrative, is just to do something more offensive.
This is 50 years ago. Biden was in his 30s, Jack. This is his full capacity. And you know what I didn't hear about in there at all is his stutter.
Maybe he was... Nope, not saying that. We'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got nothing that won't get me in trouble. So,
yeah, it's an interesting read. It really is. You should check it out if you get a chance. But so apparently Joe Biden's been that way his whole fucking life. All right, finally for what I brought tonight. This chick. You know who Kelly Cardigan is?
did she invent a sweater?
No. It's a trans chick who's Complicated. I'll leave it at that. And annoying. I'll throw that out there too. But Kelly here is upset that there's a movement to drop the T from LGBT. And she gonna tell us why. She's gonna tell us why. And for the record, I'm probably gonna pause this a lot.
The whole LGB drop the T community on Twitter is really confusing to me because it's made up of gay people, lesbians, bisexual people, and they all love to tell people like me, trans women, trans men, that what we did is a choice and it's not okay.
I don't see everything, Jack. But I have never seen that from the drop the T movement.
No.
It's never been that yours is a choice. Now, there are people who believe that. I think for a lot of these folks, it absolutely is a choice. I don't know about Kelly here. I don't know how dysphoric they actually are. But for most of them, it's an act. It's 100% an act. I don't feel bad saying that.
No, because it's a costume they're wearing for attention.
Yep. I've been saying this shit about many different leftist things. It's all just new fads.
Well, yeah, we've always drawn the distinction between people that have actual dysphoria and the transgenders.
Yes.
Same way we've always drawn the distinction between people with actual mental illness that have what they're now calling dissociative identity disorder, which is multiple personalities, and the DID nonsense that you see on TikTok. We've never not made that distinction. And most people that I've seen reacting to either category, honestly, are doing the same thing. They're drawing a delineation between the fadsters and the people that are actually suffering.
Yep.
And I would rank her as a double D trans because those are really way too big, honey. That's they also look kind of saggy, which I mean that very good job on if that's what you're going for, but
how you get saggy fake tits?
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
Maybe she just had a really bad plastic surgery. I don't know.
Or a really good one. I mean, that could be they do look more natural that way.
True.
But I don't know. They're way too big.
All right.
Dial it down 6 or 7 notches.
Do they not see the irony in what they're trying to stand for, right? Like, if anything, if someone's going to tell me my transition was a choice, how is that any different from when, like, 10 years ago, bigots would say to gay people, oh, you're choosing to be gay?
This is a topic that gets me in trouble, Jack.
Yes, it is.
Because you may be attracted to men as a man, but actually being gay, you're not gay till you take that first dick. That is a choice to take that dick. There's plenty of people who live their whole lives attracted to men and stayed married to women, call it their beard or whatever, but they're like, I'm only going to bang this woman even though she barely gets my Peter happy. It is the choices we make. I don't understand why people don't get that. And you can say, oh, no, you're still gay. Okay, but have you done anything gay yet? I mean, I wouldn't say an asexual is heterosexual. I'd say, well, they haven't done anything. They may even be attracted to the opposite sex, but are you really heterosexual if you haven't had heterosexual sex? Let's say if you're only attracted to women as a man, but you've only ever had sex with men, are you heterosexual? Can you even claim to be bisexual at that point? Because at that point, aren't you just gay? And I know there's a ton of people in chat who disagree with me on this, and that's fine. But this is one that I'm not going to let go of because life is about choices. It really is. Snubber, thank you. At this point, it's a choice. They've tried to make it too free form and fluid. There's no real science behind it, just peer-reviewed PhDs. I will say I think trans is more of a choice. And I think that the whole changing your body to look more like a woman when you're a man because it helps with your dysphoria, that's fine. But it's not treating the underlying problem. That's like having a gambling addiction and knowing that, so you only play the penny slots. You're
all day.
You're still losing money playing. You're still losing money gambling. Oh, but it's not that much. I mean, did you fix the problem because you stopped going all in at 5 card or whatever?
Look, I'm due to win, man. It's just statistics.
You haven't fixed anything. It's a Band-Aid. And again, if you're a grown-ass adult and that makes you happy, that's fine. It's just you really haven't gotten treatment. You're kind of ignoring the problem.
Hey, fact.
I mean, yeah, it's true, though. Anyhow, so.
Real quick, I got a dono here, and so do you. Thanks, Travis Gardner. That story shows that Biden is a piece of shit. Yep. Eagleton suffered from very bad depression, and that is why his marriage suffered. Weirdly, he helped write the Hatch Act that KJP hides behind. I did not know that. Thank you, Travis. He said that one took a while to get to you. Apparently, yeah. So sorry, man, because he must have sent it a little while back.
Alan, thank you so very much for the message or the donation with no message. Appreciate it, my friend. And just had a $12 feminist donation come through from Dark Resurrect. Thank you, my friend. Just waiting for it to load so I can read it here. Come on, bitch. Do it. There we go.
Streamlabs might be running a bit slow on us here.
Yeah, it looks like it. I will say the desires are not a choice. However, acting upon them is, whether that's heterosexual or homosexual. Yes, that's my point. Your desires might be whatever they are. But if you don't act on them, you know what? I understand the argument that this is what I'm attracted to. Okay, I get that. But if you had sex with that, because if not, I have trouble calling you it. And that goes for heterosexuals too. Don't think you heterosexuals are off the hook on that one for me. That's why I gave that example specifically the way I did a moment ago. Because, yeah, if you're 55, you've been attracted to women your whole life, and you've only ever had sex with dudes for whatever reason, you're gay. Sorry. I think about women when I'm boning. That's fine, but the sex you're having is gay as hell. So your sexuality seems to be pretty gay. Just saying.
Yeah, just because you're having a fantasy life is, different. I mean, it doesn't make you not gay. You're just thinking of chicks while you're boning some dude. That sounds like a fetish, a gay fetish, but a fetish nonetheless. But thank you, Alan, who says, hello, guys. Hey, Alan. Hope you're doing well, man. Thank you.
Faithless, you're getting ahead of the conversation. But he asked, is a pedo that's attracted, never offends, and acts as still a pedo? A pedo is not a sexuality.
No, they're just demonic baby rapers.
But hang on to that thought for a second.
How do we find these things?
Oh, that might have got set up improperly. You'll see.
You're choosing that lifestyle. Like, as well as I do that, like, you didn't choose to be attracted to the person you're attracted to, right?
You didn't choose to be attracted to the person you're attracted to. This is why I've always had problems with some of the language that gay people use to get their rights and stuff. I'm all for them getting their rights. But the whole thing, like, you don't choose who you're attracted to, I still don't understand how they never saw that was going to be used by pedophiles. How did you not see that coming? You were warned it was coming.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh no, you're a monster for saying stuff like that.
And you can even make the argument, okay, but that's not a sexuality, as I just did. But that's not what this was. You can't help who you're attracted to. All right. You can help who you're banging, though. And the whole you can't help who you're attracted to is the slippery slope of the pedophiles. They're coming because of that fucking line right there. And born this way. This is why I call trans activists blights on the LGBT community. Because they are. Because they're making shit worse. Anyhow.
Gender you're attracted to. Just like I didn't choose to feel like I was meant to be a woman or to be obsessed with femininity, you know, like everything about me as a person is feminine.
Then you're a feminine dude.
Yeah. There are lots of effeminate dudes out there that some of them aren't even gay.
I was just talking about the Krasensteins. They're both very effeminate.
Yeah, but they're pretty gay.
But they're not trans.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're just girly men.
Yeah, they're just very effeminate dudes. Look, you see a lot of those guys at the gym, actually.
I just love femininity. You like now. This is why, like I said, I don't know this person well enough to know if I would say, yeah, they have dysphoria. But this makes me think no, because I like to put on frilly dresses. I like feminine things. That isn't what makes a woman. There are women out there. You ever seen a bull dyke?
Oh, yeah.
Does that scream femininity to you?
Not particularly, no.
And they're so feminine, they have a vagina and play with one.
Yeah.
They
double a lumberjack in there.
They mash them together.
I believe it's referred to as clam smashing.
I've heard that term. I've heard that.
It's a highly
I love that
term.
Femininity. I feel like a woman.
What's a woman feel like?
I'm not allowed to answer that on the advice of counsel.
Whether that's biologically true or not, you know, that's besides the point. But I didn't choose to feel this way in my brain. The same way that you.
That's like saying the way she just described being trans is, it's like a fandom, Jack. I didn't choose to love Star Wars. I just love it. I love everything about it.
Yeah, I'm a Star Warsian. That's
I'm a Star Warsian.
Dundee.
I'm a Lucasite. I mean, for fuck's sake. That she really does. She describes it like a fandom. I really like their shirts. And I like the pants and the boots that Luke wears when he's walking to the speeder. It's so cool.
I love everything about Tatooine.
Oh,
I'm
fuck.
a Tatooinean.
You didn't choose to be attracted to the same gender. Or
I don't.
That's an end.
I don't understand what we just watched exactly. I don't understand how this has become the thing.
I don't know, but you know, I keep saying it, man. If there's ever a blowback on this, the only people that are really going to suffer are the ones with actual dysphoria, because most of these people that are transgenders will just move on to something else and parasitically glom onto that.
Black Romeo says, "What's a woman feel like? Kind of soft." Again, I point you to Butch Dykes, man. Go find yourself a bull dyke and tell me how soft she is with her man hands.
What if they're really soft, though?
I mean, some of them are, but hashtag not all. TikTok played her off like the orchestra at the Oscars, right? Have you noticed how many of those TikTok videos we watch where it cuts off like that? Do these people not take the time to learn how their fucking platform works?
Come on, Monkey. You know the answer to that.
Christ almighty.
Real quick.
Anyhow.
Thank you, Snubbirth. Now, Jack, you know femboys aren't real because they are slurs, just like weeb traps. All ambiguity and untraditional gender norms are automatically trans. 2 + 2 is 5, bigot. I forgot, man. I'm sorry, Snub. I'll try harder in the future to be a good ally. There are 4 lights.
I'm glad he said that because it made my brain remember something I want to point out. We're the inclusive ones. We absolutely are. Because we include femboys and tomboys and even mediumly ambiguously gay boys. We're the ones that are like, no, these are people. They're fine the way that they are. Yeah. It's the other side like, no, they're actually women.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're ruining the diversity and fun of people.
Yes.
Because remember when we had like tomboys that were actually tomboys and straight dudes that were like really effeminate fashion designers and they turned out to be like super straight. There's no fun, there's no diversity anymore because they're just like, you're trans, haha, cut your wiener off, slap them titties on the table. Yeah, it's very weird, and you're really killing the diversity of humanity doing this. I'm telling you, man, this is some sort of weird psyop by a bunch of former Nazi scientists or something.
At the beginning of the show, we talked about how far the Overton window has moved, and that is literally how far it's moved. I am the inclusive one. I'm a judgmental jackass. I'm the inclusive one.
Yeah, but I don't really care who you're sleeping with. I just don't want to hear about it. And don't stop trying to tell me I have to accept everything. I'm much more accepting when you don't pull that shit.
And I feel the same way about heterosexuals. One of the arguments that annoys me the most is, how come you don't want to see gay men kissing?
I don't want to watch anybody kissing. It's weird and gross.
Yeah. I don't want to see
people
you
always slobbering over each other. Ugh.
The only time I want to see that, Jack, is if I'm on the Christian Science Monitor and there happens to be a beautiful young lesbian couple there. Because then it's kind of hot. But otherwise, I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see... I just got to the point, Jack, now, even in movies where they're doing the fake kiss, I'm like, just stop. You know, they grab in a real deep kiss. You know there's no tongue involved, but it's implied, and they just keep going and going. Like, stop. I don't need to see it. I get it. You kissed.
It's distracting, and usually it's ham-fistedly forced in there. Even in the straight kisses, gay kisses, doesn't matter. It's tiresome. I don't want to watch that. It's boring. And I don't like watching people make out, especially when they're like pawing on each other. Ugh. Or really fat people. That one offends me way more than watching gay people kiss. Because I don't give a shit what their sexuality is. First of all, don't be fat and smelly. Second of all, nobody wants to watch you make out, weirdo. You want to do a quick peck on the cheek or something, or a quick kiss on the lips? Fine, whatever. But when you're sitting there like, nobody wants to see that shit.
No. Just a quick peck. And I don't care if you're gay, straight, whatever. Go ahead and give your... I don't mind 2 gay guys just a quick peck. All right. Because that's exactly what I put up with from heterosexuals.
Yeah.
I don't want to see y'all licking each other's tonsils.
No, it's gross and weird. You're going to get juices everywhere. Nobody wants that. I don't care what you're normally doing in the bedroom. Nobody gives a shit about that. Just stop with the public displays of affection. It's gross.
Why don't you want to see gay people kissing? Because I don't want to see anybody doing it. Knock it off. It's not that. All right?
Yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry, buddy.
Save that shit for behind the scenes. Thank you, Keldrig. The Borg is trans. I would say the Borg are probably more non-binary because they don't really have sex, do they?
I don't believe they do.
They reproduce by assimilation.
Hey, hold that thought. Dude, over there on Rumble, stop fucking putting other people's links in my chat.
Yeah, nobody wants your...
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Nobody wants your virus spam link.
Jeez. Go away. Don't make me slap you around. I don't want to mute you or anything, but I will if you keep that shit up. Don't spam my chat anyway. And certainly don't be spamming other people's links without the host permission on any fucking podcast.
Yeah, that's just poor form and bad decorum.
Frosted Glass, thank you. The most beautiful movie, Kiss. End of basketball. Oh, I can't watch that. That is so.
Oh, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like that, it's to the point where it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, and they could have even done that with the mouths closed. It's just too much. But when they're actually, you see them licking each other's tongues, like, oh fuck. That's
yeah, and they do it on purpose, obviously, for the gag. But I can't deal with that.
I skip that part every time I watch that movie.
Yeah, I just look the other way, and I'm usually distracted anyway when I'm watching movies these days because most of them aren't worth watching, or I've already seen it.
There's certain movies though that I like. Most of the time I watch TV when I go to bed, but occasionally I'll throw on a movie. And one of the ones I watch quite often is Basketball, because that movie just makes me laugh. Still to this day, when they're both naked talking to oh god, what's that hot chick's name? I think her name's Jenna in the movie, but Yasmin Bleeth, that's who it was.
Oh yeah.
But she's talking to them, they're both naked, and they have schlongs that hang down to the ground. And she just keeps accidentally making dick references. Kills me every time. Keeper Dam, thank you so much. I prefer the one from Not Another Teen Movie. Which one is that? I know the movie, but what Kiss? It's not.
They do a similar gag.
Do they?
Yeah, where it's a long, drawn-out kiss for no apparent reason.
Oh, the two lesbians. That's right, because and they got the spit actually going between their cheeks. And I know. Oh yeah, that one's fucking gross too.
Yeah, that movie ended exactly like a regular teen movie, so I thought it was a little bit of a confused ending.
I love that movie. It's one of my favorite parody movies. But the movies that it parodies, I actually like most of those. I really do. I just don't understand why they put Molly Ringwald in Not Another Teen Movie. And I get it. She was the teen idol from back in the day kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I just don't understand how the ginger became a teen idol.
I'll never understand the rise of Molly Ringwald.
No.
Never.
She must have been throat deep on Weinstein, man.
Something, but yeah, she was not an attractive girl, and the hairdos she always had in those movies never helped. But yeah, she was at best like a 4. Sorry, Molly. Then she got really fat in her old age. But yeah, I just never got it. Well, this girl's the what?
Me and our new exchange student Areola. Oh fuck yeah, that's the parody of the American Pie part, where she's just running around naked the whole time. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
Team America's sex scene, that one is not as bad, but if you watch the extended version of that sex scene, it's very disturbing.
Yeah. You know how long that had to take with those puppets?
Oh my god.
I mean, that's hours of work.
I still have a lot of respect for those guys for doing that movie. That was not an easy thing to pull off. It could not have been an easy thing to get the studio to greenlight. You're going to make a fucking puppet movie?
Yeah, like
okay,
Thunderbirds or Go. You guys are paying for this, right?
Right.
Studio's not.
Yeah. So I do have a lot of respect for those guys, but there's also that scene, and I hate this in movies and television shows too, where he vomits and it just goes on forever. And there ends up to being this giant pool around. I'm not a fan of vomit jokes, and
yeah,
I don't need to see stuff come. It's one of my problems with Always Sunny because they're constantly doing vomit stuff.
Yeah. That's kind of hard for me to handle. I'm not good with vomit.
I will say this: if you get a chance to watch the latest episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, they're in their 16th season.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking great. It's one of my favorite episodes I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's really good. They go back and visit a Chuck E. Cheese kind of place that they
oh my god
that they all went to when they grew up, and it's fucking great. Anyhow, let's go ahead. I'm sorry, bud.
Real quick, thank you, Chaos 1X. They reproduce by assimilation. Well, some things to be said about that, huh? Yeah, the Borg do process through assimilation. So yeah, I guess there is a Borg analogy in there that I didn't really think through. So yeah, you guys are onto something there, I suppose. But let's hope they don't attack the Earth, huh? We have to
Frost
go
says
back
Obama.
in time.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, bud.
Yeah, we'll just have to go back in time and find Zephram Cochrane and have a very elaborate backstory about him being a drunken loser. I don't know.
Frosty says the vomit scene is great because of how dramatic it's played and how inspirational, and the inspirational music playing. It's one of the ones like the kiss in basketball. It just goes on too long, and I think Trey and Matt are guilty of that in several scenes of their shows and movies, where shit just goes on too long.
Yeah, they play it as the gag starts, and then we take it to an uncomfortable level. But you can only do that sparingly and make it mean anything.
There's an uncomfortable level, and then there's, oh God, they're still going. Anyhow, let's see what you brought tonight. How Wingnuts made violent extremists the new normal. From Ruby Ridge to January 6th and beyond, the radical right has unrelentingly attacked. From Ruby Ridge.
Uh-huh. You know, where the guy was framed and then his wife was murdered and his kid was shot in the back. The dog was murdered. Yeah, that's just a right-wing talking point, yo.
From Ruby Ridge to January 6th and beyond, the radical right has unrelentingly attacked democratic norms for almost half a century.
It's the norm to shoot somebody's wife while they're holding a baby? That's pretty fucked up, Democrats.
All right. I've been a witness to this march for over 40 years as a young newspaper reporter and editor working in the northern Idaho panhandle. Idaho has a panhandle?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that big pointy bit.
Oh, I didn't realize that was considered a panhandle. I look at Idaho kind of like a triangle.
Oh, I look at it more as a big one of them foam fingers. That's like, we're number one.
It looks like a Dorito that a mouse got to.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Never thought
anyway,
of that.
Idaho panhandle in the 70s and 80s. Okay. I was present when the Aryan Nation moved its operation from Southern California to its small town just a little south of where I worked called Hayden Lake, and then proceeded to both terrorize the local population with waves of violent hate crimes perpetrated by the neo-Nazis who moved there with them, as well as to slowly alter the local demographics by attracting scores of fellow far-right extremists to the region, where they spread their politics of hate and division to their new neighbors. I mean, I'm not going to deny that the Aryans are an extreme, or were. I think they only exist in prison now these days. Violent, I guess you can call them right-wing group. Certainly violent. But the notion that they actually attracted a whole bunch of people up there is nonsense. One of the reasons that Randy Weaver went to like picnics and things that the Aryans threw was because there weren't very many people there. And it was a way to actually get human contact.
Yeah, it was wanted socialization of some kind, and you have limited options.
Anyhow, what made the spread of these toxic extremists into the host community so seamless, I came to realize, was their seeming normalcy.
Do you think the Aryan Nation are normal?
It is entirely normal to move with a bunch of other dudes into the Idaho wilderness.
With a bunch of tattoos and yeah, sure. Okay, dude.
While shaving your
stance.
head and giving Sieg Heils. Yeah, that's fuck. They were always the expected Hitler devotees who donned brown shirts there were always the expected Hitler devotees who donned brown shirts and swastika armbands, as well as tattooed skinheads with threatening demeanors among the participants at the annual Aryan Congress in Hayden Lake. But the large majority of the people I would interview at these gatherings looked and dressed like anyone else in Idaho at the time. Did Idaho have their own dress code?
Maybe they have like school uniforms.
More importantly, I came to realize that their views were only extreme variations of ideas and beliefs about the federal government or education or minority and women rights or homosexuality that I knew were already common among my conservative Idaho neighbors, particularly among those already immersed in the far-right John Birch Society, which had long been a significant political presence in the state. There were only a few turns of the paranoia ratchet away from being the same. Jesus, man. This is called poisoning the well, guys. Not the Aryans. The Aryans are shitbags. But this notion that everybody who was conservative in Idaho in 1970, 80 were basically just half a step from goose stepping, Jack, is retarded.
They were all goose stepping. It was just a matter of where.
It was a matter of degree.
Yeah.
The belief practiced at the Aryan Nation, whose official name was the Church of Jesus Christ Christian, are those of a racist sect called Christian Identity. It teaches that white people are the true Israelites, and the Jews are literally the descendants of Satan. Non-whites in their belief system are soulless mud people. That's in quotes. I don't know if I have to say that for YouTube. I didn't say mud people. He did. And its adherents preach that America, including its government, is in the grip of a satanic cabal that uses abortion as a kind of sacrifice to the devil. You would think the Aryans would be in favor of abortion, as many black kids is killed that way.
Yeah.
You would think that they'd be all on board with that.
Yeah, they probably should have pictures of Margaret Sanger on their wall.
But in the context of recruitment, believers frequently muted their more bigoted beliefs and emphasized their hatred of modern secular society. A number of people were attracted to the Aryan Nation less for their open bigotry than for their shared white-hot hatred of decadent liberal democracy and the U.S. government. Bullshit. You're fine with most. I don't have a lot of complaints with most of the stuff he said here. I mean, he's hyperbolic and he lies a little bit about the actual situation at the time. But when it comes to their hatred of liberal democracy, notice that the only thing that he has in quotes there is decadent. Not democracy. That's not in quotes. I wonder why. Oh, yeah, because it wasn't democracy they had a problem with. Some of these were adherents to Gale Posse Comitatus ideology. I think I said that right.
Posse Comitatus, yeah.
Sure. Say it again.
Posse Comitatus.
All right. Which preached a kind of radical localism based on a twisted, as well as both anti-Semitic and racist, interpretation of the Constitution, claiming that the federal government's powers, especially regarding civil rights laws, were extremely limited. Well, if you actually go by the Constitution, they are. That county sheriffs were the supreme law of the land, and that the FBI and other federal departments were illegitimate entities. Well, no, the sheriffs are not the supreme law of the land. It would be any state law enforcement. The FBI is absolutely illegitimate, as well as most federal departments. They take claim. Show me in the Constitution where it says that you can have a federal police force, which is what the FBI is.
Oh, they absolutely are. One of several.
Now, if you want to tell me the Commerce Department is legal because they have the ability to regulate commerce, that would be fine, except for the fact Congress is the one supposed to be doing it, not some entity that they gave the power to. That if you're going by the Constitution, they're all fucking illegitimate. They're not supposed to exist. Anyhow. Now, by the way, I think the Aryans are shitheads. I guess I have to say that since I'm now associated with them because of this fucking asshole.
Yeah, you monster.
Others were people who had deeply held apocalyptic religious beliefs. Randy Weaver. And Randy Weaver believed that the world was coming to an end. It's why he moved to Idaho. It wasn't to be near the fucking Aryan nation. It wasn't their hatred of the blacks and the Jews that drew Randy Weaver there. It was that he thought he could live out the apocalypse up there. You ever see the setup there? I mean, they had nothing. They were living. They would be jealous of the Amish.
Yeah, they were living frontier lifestyle.
In the fucking mountains. You know how hard it is to grow shit in the rocks he was living on?
Right?
Anyway, where are we? Randy Weaver and his family, hyper-religious transplants from Iowa who sought refuge in the deep forest hills of the Idaho Panhandle, were just such eventual converts. All right. Weaver was not a convert to the Aryans, which is what you just kind of suggested. Weaver subsequently became embroiled in a criminal investigation into a gun-running activities of other families he met at Hayden Lake. No, stop. He did not become embroiled with them. The FBI forced him into being any part of that. Anyway, and ended up in 1992 engaging in FBI in an armed standoff at his home on Ruby Ridge, in which his wife Vicky and son Sammy were killed. Murdered, fucker. They were murdered. Vicky Weaver was standing on her front porch with a baby in her arms, and they shot her in the fucking face.
Yep.
The family brings her body into the house, and they play audio of her talking for like the next 3 goddamn days. To these people who are looking at their dead fucking mother and wife. How dare you downplay this?
This guy didn't even read the Wikipedia on this, because what the feds did here was barbaric, even by like the standards of the Nazis.
She was holding an assault baby. I know, right? I don't know if we're going to get to anything else, Jack. This article has me mad.
It should. So I led with this one because I knew it was going to be a bit rougher than the others.
You can think what Randy Weaver did was wrong. You could think he deserved to go to jail for going over the limit you're allowed to cut a shotgun down by like half an inch or whatever the fuck it was. A minor fucking thing. And these motherfuckers force him because they want him to squeal on the Aryans. He's not part of the Aryans.
Yeah, he didn't have anything to squeal about.
Yeah.
They were trying to get him to entrap other Aryan people because they just assumed he was a member.
And so he told them no. And that led to his son getting shot in the back.
After they shot the dog, which got the kid out.
And then they shoot his wife. And this motherfucker has the nerve. The way in which his wife, Vicky, and son, Sammy, were killed. Murdered, motherfucker.
Yeah. In cold blood by the fucking feds. Everybody involved in that operation should be in jail. And they're not. They're out there walking around. Most of them probably still retired from the FBI.
Most of them at this point are either in very high positions still in the federal government or have retired. Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Where are we? It fit the long tradition I had witnessed in which converts' absolute devotion to extremist beliefs only ended in tragedy and misery for everyone involved. You piece of shit. You absolute piece of shit. The incident inflamed the radical right. I hate this, man.
Inflamed regular people who were appalled by the Fed's tactics there. I don't understand how you're automatically radical if you're upset that the FBI entrapped somebody and then murdered a bunch of innocent people.
The incident inflamed the radical right and spurred its leaders to action. Less than 2 months later in Colorado, a collection of white supremacists, gun right extremists, neo-Nazis, and Klansmen convened, fuck you, to discuss setting aside doctrinal differences and focusing on creating an armed response to federal tyranny. The end result was what would become broadly known as the militia movement. The militia movement, we should stop and talk about this for a minute, because I don't know what this asshole is going to get into.
Oh, I think you know the direction this is going.
I have no doubt. But the real militia movement, let's talk about what happened there. Because, you know, he starts out saying, I was there in the 70s and 80s, and then his story actually starts in the 90s. Ruby Ridge is the 90s. That happened under Clinton, who was elected in 92. So what happens is you have the Oklahoma City bombing, Tim McVeigh, and when they're trying to put it all together, who was, they're like, he was part of militias because he once went to a meeting of a group called the Michigan Militia, and they're like, see, militias are bad. So they brought a whole bunch of militia leaders up in front of Congress. You know how many times the militias actually did? Tim McVeigh wasn't a member. He'd gone to like one fucking meeting.
Yeah, and he's like, these guys are a bunch of LARPers out playing army out in the woods.
And the militias actually didn't do much. But the left, those fucking right-wing extremists. This is, I mean, pretty much the birth of the right-wing extremist thing we see today. He's not wrong about that, except for it's press-made, not actual. Where are we? Although it's the end result was broadly known as the militia movement, although its own adherents, some of who didn't join militias, but instead pursued constitutionalist legal theories, declaring themselves sovereign citizens. Did he just blame the militia movement for sovereign citizens?
Yes. Well, it's implied more than stated, I would argue.
Immune from federal and state law, called it the Patriot Movement. After the misbegotten 1993 federal standoff at the Branch Davidian Church near Waco, Texas, in which 76 people were killed, when the cult leader set the building afire.
No. No.
The idea began to spread like wildfire. You motherfucker. You motherfucker.
Let's just rewrite some history while we're at it.
Well, he's not rewriting history, Jack. He's going with what the original story was.
Yeah.
The original story was that the feds were there to get David Koresh, and instead of him just finally coming out, he killed all the people inside so that the government couldn't get him. And that the government tried desperately to get him out, but they shot at him when they came to try, and there were no tanks there. This is actually something they said, even though there were 2 tanks on premise. One of which he was poking holes in the building and shooting fire into the fucker.
Look, your inconvenient hate facts, they have no place here.
Jesus Christ. And the reason most of the people in there died is because you guys parked not you, not him, but the FBI, parked a fucking tank on top of the escape hatch that the women and children would have got out, and you fucking knew it was there.
Yeah. They wanted everybody to die. No witnesses.
They killed all of them.
Yep.
And they played Cher music. That is true.
Yeah, well, that's a human rights violation on many levels.
It wasn't even like Jesse James or any of her decent late 80s stuff. It was that you believe that nonsense. Oh God, I'd have shot myself on the first playthrough.
Yeah,
my wife loves that crap. No, later 90s Cher when she goes really high pitch again. Oh, it's just garbage. where she's singing in falsetto. Oh,
Yeah. Wearing
flammable tear gas tanks. Oh yeah, they were throwing tear gas into a building that's on fire, for fuck's sake. What could go wrong there?
Look, they had to lure them out somehow, even though they couldn't leave.
Do you believe in love? Yes, that's the name of the song that they were playing over and over again to these poor bastards.
I believe in life after love. Please stop playing that.
Can you imagine that's the last thing you hear?
Well, that's how you would know that Satan exists.
And that you're on the way there.
Yeah.
I began reporting on their organization activities in the Pacific and inland Northwest as a subject for my nascent freelance work. I chose to begin writing about them partly as a practical matter. My experience told me that if I wanted to tackle the subject that would produce a steady stream of news stories, right-wing extremists was an excellent bet. So you decided to frame the narrative, you twat. Since over my years reporting and editing, it was an endless wellspring of human misery, social disruption, and frightening violence. Okay. All right. Jack.
Monkey.
So far in this story,
Mm-hmm.
the only violence we've heard about was the FBI killing a whole bunch of people and a vague reference to the Aryan nation being mean to, or committing acts of violence. He doesn't actually give a single example of it.
No. At worst, they seem to have held picnics.
And look, I am not beyond believing that the Aryan nation were violent, but you didn't give a single fucking example.
None. So far, we've got the Aryan nation having picnics, some dude that was entrapped by the FBI and then had his family murdered by them, and then a bunch of religious wackos slaughtered by the feds, even though they don't seem to have actually harmed anybody.
And then afterwards come out and have a couple of people say, yeah, David Koresh used to bang the kids.
Yeah, he was a dirty pedo, don't get me wrong. I have no problem
hang on. There's no evidence of that.
No, it's probably fed up, but I'm willing to say that might be true, but that's not a reason to murder the children and the women and most of the other people that probably would have surrendered.
There's not a single bit of solid evidence that Koresh ever touched those children. None. That's not to say he never did, but all of that testimony comes from like one guy, right? And yeah, as Tailfin's pointing out, it was coerced testimony. Doesn't mean it's not real, Jack, but there's no evidence. It's just suddenly, a pedophile. They weren't going in there because he was a pedophile, Jack. They were going in for gun charges.
Yeah, that were all most likely trumped up.
Yeah. He had grenades. All right, whatever. That's a good reason to kill the children that were in there.
Apparently. I think the FBI just hates children. They probably were the ones taking dirty pictures of kids, and they're still disseminating those pictures online.
The other thing he tells us is he gives us some spooky stuff about the militia movement. Doesn't give us a single example of any violence from them. None. In fact,
I don't think there was that much.
There wasn't any. And then instead of giving us any kind of example of that, he goes on to tell us, and then they had sovereign citizens who don't believe they have to follow the law. That's not true. They just believe that they have to follow it through a admiral. I don't
through maritime law.
Maritime law.
Article 4, free inhabitant.
Free inhabitant. But there's nothing so far that they've given here. He didn't even bring up McVeigh. I mean, if you're going to go to the militia movement, why not go to McVeigh, which is, again, why that became a thing in the first place. Not why the militias existed, but why people started talking about it. He didn't bring that up. The only violence he's given us is a vague thing about the Aryans and the FBI slaughtering a bunch of people. And he can't figure out why people don't like the fucking FBI. Why people might have moved to Idaho to get away from the fucking government. I can't read anymore because I will have a stroke.
Oh, fair enough.
And I can't deal with a heart stroke. I gotta go have my heart checked in a couple of days, Jack. I want to keep it as healthy as I can.
Oh, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I'm going to get the echocardiogram done finally.
Oh,
yeah, because the doctors told me, oh, you had a heart attack, and then the cardiologist looked at it and he goes, I'm not convinced you did. There's a small part on the right side of your heart that's not quite beating how we want it to. It's a little. He said it was a little gray, which I don't know what that means. But he wants to have
horrifying.
He wants to have the echo done just to get an actual idea of what the heart looks like. And he's not expecting to find anything. So instead of heart attack, whatever's going on with me, it might just be like a flutter. Who knows?
Yeah, you might have like AFib or something. Yeah,
and until we know more, I'm going to try not to tax my heart. I would like to apologize to anybody who's wearing headphones if I yelled a little too loud in that last article. Jack, there's a lot of things you can say about Randy Weaver. Randy Weaver wasn't a perfect guy.
No.
He does seem to hold some racist views. But he didn't go hurt anybody. He moved his family to the fucking wilderness to be away from everybody. And they murdered his wife. And his son. I don't mean to keep just... The son is bad, but they shot his wife in the face while she's holding the infant on the porch. She didn't have any fucking gun. There weren't even gunshots where they go, oh, we heard shooting, so we shot back. They just murdered this woman.
Mm-hmm.
Put a bullet in her face while she's holding her. The baby was less than a year old.
Yeah, it was a tiny child. Well, no, in the FBI, they might have been aiming for the kid.
Shot her in the face. And then when I learned the part about them playing her talking, that just disgusted me in ways I cannot explain.
Yeah.
And their excuse, they actually said this because this comes out and people were like, you did what? And then, oh, we didn't know she was dead.
Yeah, we only shot her in the face with a high-powered sniper rifle.
All right, homie, you got to go bye-bye. There you go. Good luck to you. And wait, what? Failed to mute this guy. How did I fail to mute him? Is he just jumping in and out? What a douchebag.
Probably got like 6 streams open right now.
Yes, I would like to delete that message. I would like to delete that user if I could. Mute user. There we go. Get around that fucking shit. I was just going to mute you for the stream, but since you're being a douchebag, you got to go away forever. Don't spam my chat. Specifically, don't do it with other people's streams. Anyhow, Jack. Let's move along. I don't like muting people.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel good. But don't spam my chat, fucker. Piece of shit. Do people get paid to do that? To like run around and spam people's chat with, hey, go look at this stupid shit where we're going to steal your information?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
And then they kidnap people. Kidnap them. And I only did it so I could get the money for my mom's surgery. That was kind of racist. My bad.
No, that could have been a dozen different accents because it was done poorly. No offense, but
it was done poorly on purpose.
That's pretty much all of the Central and South America.
Because if I do it for real, I know I'm going to get it.
Yeah, then you'll get in trouble.
Yeah. Explosive and Molotov cocktail rock 3 DC businesses 15 minutes apart. Suspect still on the run. Oh, according to that last article, it's probably a right-wing nut group.
Yeah. But have you heard anything about this?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, this was on July 2nd. I
And
haven't seen an update to it, so.
And my guess would be it's actually a very far lefty.
Yeah, it's either a lefty or a Fed. Maybe
somebody. I want to bring this up real quick. We talk about him from time to time, not very often and not very long. But Actual Justice Warrior, do you know who he is?
I know the name.
He was on the stream with Tim Pool and that Emma retard chick the other day.
Okay.
Well, apparently, Atheism is Unstoppable reached out to him to go, hey, I saw that you did a response to Emma when she went back to her show and defended Tim Pool. Or he defended Tim Pool, not Emma. He goes, but have you seen her line about you? And so Actual Justice Warrior did another video. It's like his, I think it's called TYT's Dirty Little Secret or something like that. Excellent video. It's kind of long, but it's an excellent video that goes through TYT trying to pretend that they've never advocated violence. we don't do that here. It's not something we do. How dare you say we do that? And he goes through some painstaking detail to prove, oh yeah, you do. So check that out if you guys get a chance. Anyway, back to this. Explosive devices and a Molotov cocktail were used to attack 3 Washington, D.C. businesses early Sunday, including an establishment just a few blocks from the U.S. Supreme Court and Capitol building. Wait a minute. Wait. The Supreme Court, which recently pissed off a whole bunch of liberals again. Interesting. Jack, if this had been a bunch of conservatives got pissed off by the Supreme Court and there was a firebombing within 1,000 miles, they would have accused them of attacking the court.
Oh, they'd all be in jail for well over a year in solitary confinement.
The attacks happened just 15 minutes apart at a Truist Bank, Nike shop, and Safeway grocery store. Oh, this sounds like somebody just got fired from all of these locations. With the sports apparel business located only blocks from the government buildings, the suspect is still in the wind. I think it's probably the January 6th bomber.
Yeah, so Fed.
The ghost of January 6th. Whatever happened to him? That just kind of died.
He went back to work at the federal building, I assume.
Isn't it funny that, no harm came to any of the Congress people. While some harm came to some police officers and some people need to go to jail. It was, they hate this term, mostly peaceful. It really was. But 2 bombs being left, they're like,
That's fine.
Metro Police said the first explosion occurred around 4:30 a.m. when a device was detonated on the sidewalk by the ATM at the Tourist Bank on the 23, I don't care where. 6 minutes later, another explosive device was set off in front of the Nike store on a nearby street. At 4:45 a.m., the suspect showed up to the Safeway store on 40th Street, hurling a Molotov cocktail-style object through a window. Wait. A Molotov cocktail-style object?
Yeah. I was trying to figure out what that meant. Maybe it was some sort of small torch or a wax crafting of a Molotov cocktail.
Instead of alcohol, it was a jar of Kool-Aid that they tried lighting on fire.
Yeah, they just yelled, "Oh, yeah!"
No one was at the businesses during the early morning hours, and officials said there were no injuries. Is this just petty theft? The Molotov, the first 2, maybe they were trying to steal something, but the Molotov kind of goes the other way. That's like vandalism. Metro Police noted that the suspect was likely aiming to harm the businesses themselves rather than targeting the people. Because it was closed, you guys put that together, did you? Yeah, since nobody's in the building at that time, we figured they weren't trying to hurt people. You guys make Sherlock Holmes look like a retard. Well done.
That's why they made a detective, apparently.
Officials have yet to release any information about the suspect or a possible motive. Oh, wow. That did a little bit of damage. Not much. Blew out that window with their Molotov. I like oh, that is so ghetto. You know, when somebody breaks one of your big windows like that, there's not many choices you have until the window's repaired.
Yeah, those big panes of glass are expensive too.
Yeah, so just throw up some cardboard. I would at least go get some plywood on that bitch. Have somebody go down to the hardware store. That'd be expensive these days too. I know wood has come down in price, but it's still not cheap.
It's still not where it was 5 years ago.
Representatives from the different businesses didn't respond to her. Roderick, thank you. It can't be Antifa then. They prefer baseball bat style objects and setting fire to trash can style objects. But they do use the Molotov cocktail style object to set themselves on fire.
Yes. Also, they may have thought this was a black-owned business because they have set those on fire before.
The case is being investigated by the Metro Police and the ATF. DC police are offering... Okay, we got to go back for a second. I want to read this part before we get to that next line. Officials have yet to release any more information about the suspect. So all we know is there's a guy. That's it. And then they say this. DC police are offering up to $10,000 to anyone who can provide information that leads to an arrest and conviction.
It's like a Where's Waldo with a federal agent, isn't it?
It's like Where's Waldo, but Waldo's dressed like everybody else in the picture. You...
Please snitch on your friends.
Do you know a guy who might have been up around 4:30 the other day? Jesus fucking Christ. The ATF's also agreed to match that offer, bringing the total up to a... If people need to be told that matching $10,000 equals $20,000, we are in worse shape than I thought.
Now you know we're in way worse shape than you thought.
I get it, man. You're paid by word count, but fuck. Anyone with tips on the incident, including video or photos of the 3 locations that were hit, have been encouraged to contact the Metro Police or text their tip line at 50411. Chucking Molotovs isn't exactly novel in Washington. Last year, a man was arrested for tossing 2 Molotov cocktails at a Capitol Police near Union Station. On Thursday, a man with a January 6th riot warrant out on him also was erected. They gave him an erection, y'all.
Yeah, they were like, oh, hello there.
Arrested near former President Obama's D.C. house with multiple weapons in his car, including ingredients to make a Molotov. Oh, it's probably him. Probably him. Have you heard about that case?
Not very much, no. It kind of went away.
The dude was arrested. Was it for making threats? I think is the official reason. And he had some guns with him.
Monster.
I mean, you're taking a shot at a former president's house. You better not miss. Because unlike the Supreme Court, we don't have to do special legislation to get him protection. He's already got it, and they will shoot your ass.
Yeah.
You might want to be careful. You Secret Service. Nobody wants to be the Secret Service agent that let a former president get murdered.
That could be what we would call a career ruining.
Yeah. Yeah. Suddenly you're working the desk job in Anchorage, Alaska, and nobody ever hears from you again. Oh, man. That story was horribly written. I realized they weren't working with much, but goddamn. Do you guys know a man Please call Metro at 50411. I'm going to call them and go, look, I know a guy. And they'll be like, who? He lives right down the street. I don't think he's been in D.C. But
I just know him.
I know him.
He's a guy. He fit your awful description.
Oh, thank you, Dangerous. Yeah, there's the link to the TYT's Darkest Secrets. That's the one that Actual Justice Warrior did that I was talking about. All righty. We have another copyright story. Been a minute since we had one of these. 2 authors file class action against OpenAI for breaching copyright by training ChatGPT on novels they wrote without their permission. Ooh. That's interesting.
I thought so too.
That is, yeah. This has kind of broke my brain a little bit, Jack. I don't know how I feel about that.
How? I mean, if it's possible ChatGPT is using some of their work in other works that it creates, then if they trained it that way. So yeah, this could be an interesting copyright case.
Well, somebody the other day, Shio, asked ChatGPT about me. I'd forgotten about this. I meant to bring this up. And because of it, I can kind of see their point. I'm not going to share what he said to me, but I will share this. This is what ChatGPT came up with about the ranting monkey. This is my social summary, Jack.
Oh, no.
Says, summary, based on the recent tweets of Ranting Monkey, several insights can be gathered about their professional interests, affiliations, and potential areas of expertise. He, I'm a dude.
You don't know how you identify.
He appears to be critical of politicians and government actions, particularly targeting Hunter Biden and his alleged involvement in selling access to his father, the vice president. Now, the day that this was done, I had written, I think, 2 tweets about Hunter Biden and access to his dad.
2 tweets? Jesus, leave the man alone. Stalker.
I don't talk about Hunter Biden all that often on my tweets.
Okay, wait. Who sent you this? Shio?
Yeah.
Okay, Shio knows very well that you get blamed for shit I do. So it's quite possible it looked at my Twitter feed and is blaming you.
No. I know this came from me because of that selling access to his father, the vice president. Notice it doesn't say the president. I had written one tweet about how he was selling access to his dad, the vice president. Actually put the VP, and then in quotes brackets I put now the president. So yeah, this was like literally just pulled straight from my thing. Ranting Monkey also expresses criticism towards the media, accusing outlets like the Washington Post of being dishonest. He frequently engages with users like Krasensteins and Scribelight who share similar viewpoints.
Oh, that's insulting to say that you share viewpoints with the Krasensteins.
That is specifically Brian Krasenstein.
Yeah.
Because Ed's is Ed Krasen. But yeah, I loved that part. I share views with the Krasensteins. In terms of personality, Ranting Monkey displays a sarcastic and humorous tone in their tweets. They often make lighthearted comments, such as expressing amusement at the idea of hiring somebody for the lulz alone. That is another direct tweet that I had made that day.
Yeah, I remember that one. The resume guy. Yeah.
Yep. Their tweets suggest a tendency towards skepticism and a willingness to challenge prevailing narratives. Well, thank you for noticing that part. While it is challenging to determine Ranting Monkey's political allegiance or home city.
That's creepy.
Why are you trying to find out where I live, bitch? Based solely on their tweets, their criticism of Hunter Biden and left-leaning media indicates a potential alignment with conservatives or right-leaning ideologies.
Ooh,
However, However, it is important to note that this is speculative and not definitive. All right. Considering their critical stance towards government action and media, oh, that guy's going to write an article about me now. A suitable gift for Ranting Monkey would be the book The Case Against Socialism by Rand Paul. I would actually read that. I haven't read it. And then it tells me what the book is, and there's a link to it. But I find that to be pertinent to the other thing we're talking about, because I can see just from that. I mean, then they did put in quotes the one part, for the lulls alone, but the other part they didn't put into quotes, and it was clearly taken directly from a tweet.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how I feel about this. I guess it would, if you're just training the AI, I don't have a problem with it. But if the AI is actually pulling direct excerpts, then yeah, that would be copyright infringement. I mean, technically what we just saw, that was copyright infringement. They didn't give me credit for what I actually said.
Oh, you deserve credit, you monster.
I don't give a shit, but just saying. Filed Wednesday, the suit comes from authors Mona Awad and Paul Tremblay. They say ChatGPT was trained in part by ingesting their books without consent. A class action lawsuit. The filing is the first against OpenAI concerning copyright. But yeah, see, that's them being trained by ingesting it. That's like saying, if I read their book and that somehow informs my opinion somewhere, that's copyright infringement.
I can see why it would sound that way, but I think what they're worried about is that excerpts from their book are going to show up in AI generated material.
And if it does, then you have a suit. But if it hasn't yet, you have no standing.
Yeah.
You can't sue for something that might happen.
Well, you can. You're just going to lose.
Cool Frog, thank you for joining in. Wait, you can raid now on YouTube?
Oh, I heard that was coming, but I didn't believe that.
Says Cool Frog and their viewers just joined. Hello. Hi, Raiders. How are you? Hope you're well. Welcome to Monkey Being Indecisive, because this is a new kind of concept. I'm trying to scroll down and see. That said, the model underlying ChatGPT is trained with data that is publicly available on the internet, and lawyers for the authors say that includes copy from several of their clients' books, which are protected by copyright. Well, yeah, I guess if you haven't bought the book, in my example, for me to read it, I'd have to either get it from the library or buy it myself. So somehow they got compensated for it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. At over 1,000 subs allowed to raid. Oh, okay. All right. I did not know that. Huh. I'll have to look into that. I like raiding people, Jack.
It's an interesting statement.
This body of text is called the training data set. Oh, wait. Citing 3 titles specifically, the suit states, rather than being programmed in the traditional way, ChatGPT is trained by copying massive amounts of text and extracting expressive information from it. Yeah. Kind of the point, isn't it? And I mean, it is programmed to go look for that stuff and to interpret it. So it is still programmed in the traditional way. It's still doing what the program was written to do. Remember, no program can do what you didn't write it to do. That includes bugs. Bugs exist because somebody fucked up. This body of text is called the training data set, it continues. Once a large language model is copied and ingested, the text in its training data set, it is available to admit convincingly naturalistic text outputs. Every time it assembles a text output, the model relies on the information it extracted from its training data set. Yeah, but they're not replaying it. I'm sorry, I can't be with the copyright owners on this one. Not yet. Again, if they told us, Jack, that they did ChatGPT and suddenly, without accreditation, a full page of their work showed up. That'd be one thing. But it might have read my work and therefore that was part of its training. That's stupid. That's not copyright. How would that be copyright? I don't understand.
I'm not sure. I think if their argument is that it's using their work in other works, then yeah, I would agree that it's copyright. But I'm not entirely clear on the training aspect of it.
Well, they're not even alleging that it's copying their work. Now seeking compensation, the authors claim OpenAI unfairly profited from what they say is stolen writing. They added that the OpenAI has increasingly secretive about how it gathered the data during the bot's training phase in the first place. So you don't even know if it actually looked at your book. But you're going to have a hell of a time with this suit.
Yeah, this is going to be an ugly one.
And I don't think it's going to go very well for him.
Probably
we'll
not.
see. We'll see. I mean, copyright is one of the worst legal issues we have in the States, man, because it's so fucking convoluted.
Yeah, it's a very complicated system because of like fair use laws and stuff like that. So I thought it was interesting.
That is. It's very interesting.
So,
and,
yeah, it could be worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, I'm interested in how that one turns out. So if you do see updates to it, please bring them back to the show.
Oh yeah.
Juan says, I don't know if you're roasting Destiny, but he's based as fuck usually. I like Destiny usually. My friend Jack here is not a fan, and we were roasting him tonight because sometimes while he is based as fuck, sometimes he's dumb too. Sometimes he's wrong. I don't want to say dumb because I don't think Destiny's a dumb guy. I think Destiny's wrong a lot.
I just think he's an asshole.
I know. Oh, look, he's 100% an asshole. I won't deny that part. But so am I.
Yeah, but you're a fun asshole. He's mean. But for no reason sometimes. He's just a dick to people.
I think a lot of that is based on the old Destiny, and he's changed a lot.
I don't know. I find him insufferable, so
no, that's fair.
Can't watch that much of his work.
Masters of the Universe. Google says it will scrape everything posted online to train AI. Oh, are they the ones that went after Twitter? Were they the ones data scraping over there on Twitter?
We'll get to that. That's the next article.
Oh, okay. Google has announced it now reserves the right to scrape virtually all content posted online to enhance its AI tools. You can get sued, homie. The internet giant's privacy policy now doesn't just describe how the masters of the universe will use. Why are they calling them that?
They probably call themselves that. I don't know.
Will use all your personal data and its products to generate ad revenue, but it also explains it considers the entire internet fair game for its relentless data collection system. All right, my problem with that is there's a lot of people's private information that's in Google that's nowhere else.
Yep, including like your emails. But they're just going to scrape all that. It's fine. It's fine.
Look, hopefully they put something in place, but my mind immediately goes to, okay, Google Wallet is online.
Yeah.
If you're using that for your AI bot that you release to the public, what's to stop it from scraping, say, I don't want to say anybody's name because then if their credit card gets stolen, Joe Blow's credit card information.
Well, and further, are they going to scrape Samsung's wallet too? Because they said everything's fair game.
Yeah.
What gives them the legal right to just start taking everybody's info?
The new policy states Google uses information to improve our services and to develop new products, features, and technologies that benefit our users and the public. That's a lie. You guys do not always do things that benefit the users.
By users, they meant their wallets.
For example, we use publicly available information to help train Google. Okay, at least they say publicly available information there.
Yeah, I don't buy that for a fucking second because I don't trust them.
Publicly available information to help train. Well, again, what is publicly available? We've seen this with a lot of doxing things. Well, oh, that was publicly available. And yeah, technically, if you did a lot of digging and shit, you could find something on somebody.
Just because you can find it doesn't make it publicly available, though.
I mean, thank you. Let's say a man hypothetically named Matt Jarbo gets his credit card scraped.
Matt Jarbo's not a real person. Don't be silly.
Yeah, that's as made up as Joe Blow. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's the name I use when I'm having one night stands. It's not a real person.
Anyway, they take this information to build products and features like Google Translate, Bard, and Cloud AI capabilities. This change in the policy is a departure from the norm. Typically, privacy policies outline how a company uses information posted on its own platforms. However, Google's new policy suggests that it can harvest and utilize data posted on any part of the public web. I mean, yeah. Why wouldn't they be able to? I don't like the policy here, but yeah, why not the whole web? The whole web is open to everybody. As long as that says publicly available information. Yeah, the whole web. That sounds like what they would do. Isn't that what Chat GPT does?
Supposedly, I'm not sure, but I don't trust them to adhere to just the publicly available information.
The implications of this policy change are far-reaching. AI models such as Bard and ChatGPT could potentially use your old blog posts or restaurant reviews to generate responses. There's some stuff I've written on the internet that I really hope they use. I hope they use it to train their
This
AI.
kind of goes back to that other article, though, because if they find some torrent site that put up a copy of your book and they start scraping that material and then using it, aren't they stealing from you? Your blog is your personal work, and if they start using that, aren't they stealing from you?
Well, it depends on how they use it. I mean, if what they're doing, if they're training the AI with it, I don't see that as a steal, really. They're just making their AI smarter. Now, again, if it starts copying you directly, then yes. But let's say use their restaurant review thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You wrote a blog 10 years ago about how much, okay, I'll say I did it because this is more likely. I wrote a blog 10 years ago about how much I love Baconator fries, right? And I love Baconator fries.
This is real, isn't it? You did this,
no,
didn't you?
I did not write I have written posts on both Facebook and Twitter about how much I love Baconator fries, and I've talked about it on stream many times, but I never wrote a blog post about it. But let's say I had. And somebody types into Chat GPT, give me a review of Wendy's. And it comes up and it says, while most people hate Wendy's, there is a certain segment of the population that really loves Baconator fries. Did they steal from me, or did they just, train their bot that, yeah, some people like it?
Yeah, what if they're training their bot and they're not doing a very good job, and it just starts using quotes from you and not attributing them?
Well, then in that case, that would absolutely be copyright infringement. But so far, that's not what's been alleged in any of this. And that's where my problem comes in with the whole copyright case that we just read about, because they're not saying that this stuff was reused in any capacity that would be actually taking their words and giving it to people for free. Anyhow, so you said the next one is somewhat related here?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, interesting. All righty. Elon Musk lawyers send letter threatening to take Mark Zuckerberg to court over his Twitter copycat. Uh-oh.
Whoopsie.
Elon Musk lawyers sent a cease and desist letter to Mark Zuckerberg over the launch of Threads. All right. I got to pause here for a second. Elon, you got no room to talk here, bud. You just made it so people can basically post on Twitter like they do on Facebook. You took away the character limit.
Well, only if you're verified.
But still, one of the reasons I don't go to Facebook very often is because those people don't know how to be pithy. I like the idea of old style Twitter. I think 140 characters was probably a little too much, but 280. I like forcing people to be able to express their thought in that time. I think people would be a lot better off if they could do that more often.
I don't know. I've seen too many people that are really bad at being concise, and it comes off as like, well, you sound retarded.
And that's fair. That's fair. But some of them sound that way in 1,000 words too.
Oh, absolutely true. I'd prefer most people just shut up.
Musk claims Meta hired ex-Twitter staff to help create the copycat app, something Meta denies. So if that turns out to be true, you guys could be in some severe trouble.
Yeah.
Some former Twitter employees are at Meta, fewer in technical roles, and none are under a non-compete, a source told Insider. It doesn't matter if they're under a non-compete or not. A non-compete just means they can go work at this other company. It doesn't mean they can take secrets that they learned at that company and bring them over.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
You're a slave driver monster.
Elon Musk's Twitter is threatening to sue Facebook. The night that Meta launched its new text-based app, Alex Spiro, Musk's personal lawyer, who also helped with his takeover of Twitter, sent Mark Zuckerberg a formal letter regarding Twitter's serious concerns about the legality of Threads, Semaphore first reported. God, man, I should really wear glasses. My doctor keeps telling me to go to the eye doctor. I'm like, yeah, I'll go. She's like, you're diabetic. You're going to go blind. I'm like, probably.
Don't you tell me what to do, doctor.
That'll just mean I won't be able to see when my feet are missing.
Wow.
And frankly, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see my stumps.
You could get those cool running blades like that guy that shot his wife.
No, they don't give them to you for just the little stumpy feet. They give you those like wooden things.
Egg legs?
No. Just like a flat piece of 2x4 that they nail to the bottom of your leg.
Oh my God! What are you, a horse?
Maybe medicine is advanced.
Giddy up.
The letter, confirmed by Insider, claims Meta used Twitter trade secrets and other intellectual property to build Threads. Spiro went on in the letter to accuse Meta of hiring dozens of former Twitter employees, some of which improperly retain Twitter documents and electronic devices. If so, those people can go to prison for that.
Yeah, which wouldn't surprise me because a lot of the firings happened quick, and they probably just were like, fuck you, I'm keeping this computer then.
Bubba says, well, you wouldn't be able to fall as much if you can't stand. You would think, but I bet I could find a way.
You just flop over on your side randomly because you miss it so much.
I know I've used the option before, but I'm a little dipsy. What's the best way, or what's the way of donating that gives you guys the most pennies again? Honestly, it works out about the same. We prefer Streamlabs just because we get it immediately.
Yeah, because
at least I do. I don't want to speak for you, but yeah.
Well, I don't really have, like, my channel doesn't have super chat, so Streamlabs. But yeah, Streamlabs, we get it right away. We don't have to wait a month, and that way, if we do get demonetized, we don't lose the money too. So.
Yeah, if you donate to me on the 1st of the month, I get it on the 20th of the next month. If you do it through Facebook or Facebook, I've been reading too many stories about this shit. If you do it through YouTube,
real quick, thank you, Retro V Gamer, who says we can rebuild him. We have the technology, gentlemen. We can make the world's first bionic monkey. Oh my god, that would be such a great spin-off. Instead of the $6 million man, it's a $6 million monkey. And he just runs around ripping people's arms off and beating them to death with their own arms.
Cougar Knife asked for the Streamlabs link. It is linked at the top of the YouTube chat, but could somebody toss it in the chat for us again? You don't want to make monkeys stronger, man.
I kind of do now because it makes such a great low-budget horror film or a spin-off of The Bionic Man.
That's how you get Planet of the Apes, dude.
No, that's how you get Planet of the Cyber Apes.
One day they're sweeping.
Entirely new concept and trademark, copyright, patent pending. Yeah, no, the cyber apes are going to be so much cooler because they're cyborgs.
Leave monkeys alone. This is why every time we read a story about some kind of primate that's not human beating the hell out of humans, I'm just like, yeah. Fuck did you think was going to happen? They have retard strength.
Yeah.
Stop messing with monkeys. I know they're cute, but leave them alone.
They just want to be left alone and maybe a banana.
You're going to get beat to death with your own arms.
Yeah.
You sound like you can swim to me. Your real name ain't Jim. No, my name is I am not Jim. All right. It's amazing how many people I get told I sound like, Jack.
Yeah. You do get
the weirdest one to me that I got was Black Pigeon Speaks, and I'd never heard him before, so went over and listened. I'm like, I don't sound anything like that.
Yeah, he's got a really weird intonation, plus he's Canadian.
I didn't know he's Canadian. Now I take it as a fucking insult. We talked about how Canadians talk.
What are you talking about?
They sound like their family tree doesn't quite fork.
I don't think it's quite that bad.
It is.
Yeah, probably.
Like some kind of hair lip made that shit happen.
Ouch.
I love you, Canadians. The best part about this is Canadians are so nice. They'll be like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I sound like that, eh?
No way, we don't sound like that. What are you talking about? Let's play some hockey.
It says eat me. Eat me, eh? All right. The Canadian accent is the most confusing because they sound normal and then they just tard off for a second. Like, what happened? They'd be having a regular conversation and out of nowhere they can't pronounce about. And it like, anyhow, I'm very curious. I see all these stories, but woman has epic meltdown over not real passenger on American Airlines flight. What's with the airline issues lately? There was a dude who freaked out on an Australian plane recently.
The one with this chick, apparently from some of the more obscure sources, she may have actually been having a sleepwalking incident.
Really?
Yeah. But the clip is very much out of context. You just see this chick freaking out about somebody that may not be there. Well, apparently she was sleepwalking. Clay Travis was talking about this a little bit on the Clay and Buck show today. Mm-hmm. And apparently he's a sleepwalker. Well, he's a sleep runner because he has like these nightmares where somebody's chasing him. So he'll get up in the middle of the night and just take off running. And he'll wake up like outside or somewhere else in the house and not know how he got there. But it's like a night terrors thing. Do
people talk in their sleep like that?
Oh, yeah. People can drive in their sleep. They can open doors, unlock doors. It's amazing what people can, normal tasks. I knew a dude that would eat in his sleep. He'd sleepwalk to the fridge and make sandwiches and eat them. Of course, he's a big fat dude, so kind of inclined already. So
that's kind of freaky, man.
Yeah, it's very weird. But there's a lot of stuff that you can do in your sleep.
All right. So California Reparations Task Force calls for elimination.
Sometimes it's hard to tell when you cut out and when you're just like, oh, fuck this article.
all right, I will finish this in a second. California Reparations Task Force calls for eliminating child support debt for Black residents. So you want Black children to be poor.
Or had just half Black children.
All right. Okay. The California Reparations Task Force is asking the Democrat-controlled state legislature to eliminate interest on past due child support, as well as any back child support debt for Black residents of the state.
Let the children suffer.
But do they not understand how this will hurt little Black kids?
I don't think they care.
You are the Reparations Task Force, and you're like, fuck little Black kids.
That's pretty much what I got out of it, yeah.
No, Faithless isn't. Well, I mean, I guess it's kind of a handout, but it would at least make sense. I'm not saying I would agree with it, but it would at least make sense if what they said is, we want you to take some of the state budget and pay this back child support for them so that they can get caught up. But this is like just eliminate it.
Yeah.
Just pretend it never existed.
And fuck those women with those kids because
in its final report released last week, the group claimed discriminatory laws have torn apart African American families, and that one effect of that is that of the harms is caused by the disproportionate amount of African Americans who are burdened with
maybe don't have children out of wedlock. That sounds like your own fault.
I'm sorry, who are burdened with child support debt. You're blaming the state for Black men not staying with their baby mama.
Yeah, for being irresponsible with their seed. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. The nearly 1,100-page document stated that Black Californians represent a larger percentage of those who owe child support debt than... I'm sorry.
Real quick, thank you, Keldrig. This is the most Californian thing I've ever seen. Kind of is, isn't it?
Faithless says the divorce and child support laws are fucked, though. I understand that. But most of the child support, it's not, like what a basketball player has to pay or what Hunter Biden should be paying. In most instances, we're talking a few $100s a month for these guys. But their arguments are what I'm laughing at. There's more Black guys who have to pay child support than the percentage of Black guys in the country or in the state. Cougar Knife, thank you so much for that donation with no message. I appreciate it. That makes no sense. Okay, it's very much like the crime statistics or any goddamn statistic. Black people being a disproportionately high representation of whatever the fuck it is nobody's fault. Except Black people. The individuals who make up that whatever percentage is. That's who, like when they talk about the number of Black guys in prison, there's more Black guys in prison than they are the population. Are they guilty? I don't care what the percentage. Are they guilty?
Did they commit a crime? Because that kind of matters.
Yeah. It also claimed the 10% interest rate the state charges on back child support hinders their ability. I agree with that. They shouldn't have interest on that shit.
No, that's stupid.
Hinders their ability to finance further education, attend job training, find employment, and maintain housing because of the legal consequences of not paying such debt. Fair. That part's fair. Go ahead and eliminate all of the back interest on it. I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, and stop throwing people in jail for not paying a debt because that's debtor's prison.
Yeah, and how are they supposed to
pay the debt when you're in jail? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're right on the same page on that one.
I support the idea of child support. I do think that there needs to be a better system of how it's assigned out. I know guys here in Michigan have been absolutely screwed by it. And then I know other guys who somehow get away with shit you would not believe.
Yeah. Real quick, thank you, Cougar Knife, for the donation with no message. Appreciate it. But a lot of this is, well, there's two factors here, because sometimes this is from divorce law and sometimes it's just from baby mamas.
Oh, sure.
Now, what they're doing is they're combining both issues, and they're just saying no child support. There are different circumstances for each one, because child support laws are pretty fucked up. But at the same time, you don't get to just have your debt wiped out because of your skin color. That's disgusting.
But how do you go from we need reparations? This is the reparations task force. This is literally give black people money task force.
Yeah.
And
and
they don't
apparently
say
a free pass on other laws.
And they don't say, hey, state, you have to make up for this as part of the reparations. They're saying, fuck the younger black kids. Please give reparations basically to these men.
Yeah.
They're offspring who they have nothing to do with. Fuck them.
Yeah, it's fucking over the kids. But like you said, if it was about the punitive interest rates or sending people to jail, I'd be all on board with reform for that. But this is not the right venue for that. This is a separate issue than reparations, and it affects a lot more than just black people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The report cited a 2003 California Department of Child Support. You guys haven't done a study since 2003 on this shit? Anyway,
they're making too much money.
That estimated 27% of owed child support in the state was unpaid interest. That is fucking horrible.
That's evil.
Anthony Weiner, why don't you get on that? There's something you can fix.
Diddle kids.
No, the state's got to get their cut, man. Dirty pricks. That interest doesn't go to the kid, right? That goes to the state.
Yeah, that's the state.
Anyway, that those who owed child support had lower incomes than the typical California worker, and that such interest required a larger portion of their income to actually be paid. You don't need any of that argument. All you need to put out there is the state has no business getting money from this.
Yep. The state should not be profiting off of people's kids. That's messed up.
Yeah, this is supposed to go to the child to make sure that they are raised. This should not be a blank check for the fucking California government.
No. And again, that's a separate issue from reparations, and arguably a more important one, since most of the people that want reparations have never ever been a slave.
Now, here's some reparations I will support, Jack. Anybody in California or any other state that has paid interest on child support should get that money back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Every dime of it. Because, again, I support the idea of child support, Jack. That doesn't mean I support the way it's implemented. I've seen some atrocious shit. Like that one, the basketball player, where his kid was getting like $200,000 a month.
Yeah.
Fuck you. That you can take care of that kid and all his friends for a year on that.
Oh, yeah, easily.
I'm like, no, you have to, because his mama got to be in the, and that's part of the problem. Is it's not about the child being taken care of in a lot of cases. It's about baby mama being the life she's accustomed to, because it's coming back. But alimony was gone for quite a while. You didn't hear about it much. Because women had to start paying it. But it's making a comeback. And for a long time, though, it wasn't around. So they got around that shit with excessive child support.
Yep. I believe that's female privilege.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I saw somebody I was watching BX Beast Boy, and it was one of his videos. What is it? Roma Army?
Yeah, chick with the neck tattoo.
Yeah, that bitch dumb.
Yeah, she does a lot of shorts, and I'm not a huge fan, shall we say.
some of the stuff that he was responding to made me want to do response videos. That bitch is dumb. Men.
Yeah.
She claims to be a little men's rights activist, but men, you guys got to choose better women if you're going to have women doing your men's rights shit. Because whether it's the honey badgers just using you guys to fund their house, or did you see fucking what's that ugly redheaded chick's name?
Pearl?
Pearl, thank you. She was on Piers Morgan the other day.
What?
Yeah. She was on Piers Morgan, and she actually got him to agree with some of her crazy shit.
Yeah. Piers Morgan's a complicated guy.
There was a New York Post article about her the other day as well. Like, why are y'all pumping this bitch up?
Because they could tear her down very easily.
Faithless says we do not get to choose who advocates for us. You can choose who you support, though. You can choose who you build up. There can be a crazy guy in the street advocating for you. Doesn't mean you got to go give him money every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
I get your point. And I do wish there were more people for you guys to choose from in the men's rights thing. I would love to be that guy, Jack. I'm just not that dedicated. No offense. I just, my interest lies more in the overall news. So, yeah, I somebody needs to step up, but it ain't Pearl. It ain't Roma. Sure. Man, I wasn't even familiar with that bitch. So I watched that video. Like, people follow her?
Yeah, she's got a surprising number of followers.
Oh God, I need titties, man. Not the ones that I have, but
you know what's interesting is she doesn't even show her body very much. It's not that impressive either.
Well,
she's got the neck tattoos, man. That really throws me off with women. I don't really like that. Looks like you have a beard.
Well, if you are a part of her Roma army and you want to see her naked, apparently you can on her Patreon.
Oh.
Yeah,
I guess that's a better perk than I could offer.
She doesn't do OnlyFans or anything like that, but she sells her nudes. From what I saw there and listening to her, this chick is just taking advantage of lonely men. It's fucking sad. Faithless says it's like getting a court-appointed public defender. That's a great analogy with what we've seen. Yeah. Have you kept up with the Andrew Tate stuff?
No. I don't pay attention to Andrew Tate.
Me, I don't either very much, but Willie Mack's last two videos are quite interesting. Andrew Tate might actually be fucked.
Yeah, he probably is. I mean, he's in Romania. I'm telling you, you don't trust a government where they believe in vampires but are opposed to spanking children. It's too contradictory. There's too much going on there.
I hear you, but yeah, some of the information that's been leaked by the prosecutor, them Tate boys, I hope they have a good Romanian lawyer.
Them Tate boys are about to jump a creek.
Some days the mountain might get them.
The Dukes of Romania.
Yeah. Look, I don't trust the Romanian system any more than I trust ours. But if the information that's coming out is right, yeah, they are probably going to jail and probably deserve to.
Wow.
And I want to be clear on this. I don't know if they're guilty. I want justice. If they are not guilty, I want them free. If they are guilty, I want them to rot in fucking prison.
No, I think Evil One's right. If they pay off the right people, they'll be fine.
Well, I mean, if you listen to Andrew Tate, that's why he's in Romania.
Yeah.
I mean, he actually said that it sucks in the United States that you can't bribe the police.
Well, I mean, if you're rich, I can understand the attitude there because that's how a lot of rich people think. The rules don't apply to them.
You got to make sure that the cop's not wearing a body camera, and you got to be in Chicago, my friend.
Yeah, well, that's MAGA country.
There's still places in the U.S. where you can pay off a cop.
Oh, yeah, I have no doubt about that. You go to most countries, you can pay off the cops.
They're not paid that well.
No. Real quickly, thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. In regards to Roma, I found her a few years ago. There are several questionable things in her past. Throws up the grifter flag for me. Yeah, that's the vibe I got too. I mean, first of all, I don't trust most people with neck tattoos, like full wraparound neck tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
On average, they look like shit, and it tells me you have a track record of bad decision making. Now, if you have a really good one, that's a different story. But I don't trust her, and she gave me like the vibe of like this is all a grift. So, yeah, I don't know. I thought she was the grifter type too. So yeah, probably you're on the right track. I think, Dark. Thank you.
Faithless talking about the Tate boys. They made the option too public, so now it's off the table. Yeah, you can't go around talking about how it's so easy to pay off the government and then get in trouble and expect to be able to pay them off because everybody will see it.
Yeah, you've just exposed their game, dude. They're gonna get mad about that. Be like, well, no, we're gonna throw your ass in jail now because you made us look like we're corrupt, and we don't want that. We want that on the down low.
We've talked about this so many times. Why do people go online and admit their crimes? And in this case, it wasn't even a crime. It was a potential crime, one that made it so you can never get away with that.
Yeah. Don't tell people about the felonies you're committing.
Maybe on a speeding ticket, they'll be like, all right, give me $10, I'll let you go. But you're looking at trafficking charges.
Yeah, like that's hardcore serious stuff. You got to be bribing a lot of people. The money gets spread around a lot on those.
And look, he's got a ton of money, so they could have done it. But I agree with what Faithless said there, that they can't. And in a weird way, it makes me think that they can't get a fair trial.
Yeah, they're probably not going to anyway because they're in fucking Romania.
Well, no, it's not even that. I'm sure that's part of it, but they're going to have to find these guys guilty. Otherwise, everybody's going to be, well, not everybody, but a significant portion of people will be out there going, oh, they just paid them off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Don't worry. They were probably found guilty before they were arrested.
Very likely. No, Jack, they were investigating.
Yeah. Like, this is why you have to know the laws of the places you go. Like, Romania is a beautiful country, and I would actually really like to go there because they have Dracula's castle and lots of other cool tourist shit. And it's super cheap. But you don't go around bragging about violating their laws or saying how corrupt they are. That's dumb. It's like taking weed into Russia and flaunting their laws. That's just a stupid move. Eventually, the government runs out of arms dealers to trade for you.
Yeah. Like I said, all I want is justice in this case, Jack. If they did it, fry them. If not, let them go. Because I don't want guilty. I don't want guilty people free, and I don't want innocent people locked up, no matter who they are or where they are. I'm not a fan of Tate. I think while Tate may say a few things that I do agree with and that are true, that the way he gets attention so that he can say those things is kind of creepy and dirty. Yeah,
look, I don't really like the guy, but I don't want to see him thrown in jail when he's innocent.
Exactly.
So, if he's innocent, he should be going to jail, but they're probably going to convict him just for reputational purposes.
Well, again, if the stuff coming out is true, he's guilty as shit. But I don't know if it is. And I don't know if it's in context, because we've seen that before. We saw that in the Rittenhouse trial, where shit just taken out of context.
Well, unfortunately, in a case like this, we're probably never going to know.
No, but we will know an outcome of the trial eventually.
Yeah.
So I didn't even mean to get talking about Tate. I remembered that Beast Boy video I was watching in that Roma army chick, and God, you poor bastards, you definitely need better representation. 400,000 pounds flies out of a motorcyclist's backpack as he rides along a freeway, unaware he'd not zipped up his backpack.
Whoops. You know why I wouldn't pick any of that money up? Batman 1989. The Joker dollars.
Smilex?
Yep. Not gonna
Yeah.
die Joker wise. Nope. Thank you.
Faithless says we do know the women said he did nothing wrong. A couple of the women said he did nothing wrong. There's more. Again, you got to look at the leaks. But what is it? 2 of the women came out really strongly supporting him. But if I remember correctly, it's up to 7 that they have saying that he did bad shit. Again, I don't know if it's true. Just saying. Why are you riding around with 40,000 pounds? This isn't pound. For those of you who are not reading the screen, we're not talking about weights. We're talking about money. John Mark Barrientos was driving down the freeway in the Philippines on July 4th. Suddenly his backpack broke and $40,000 in notes, 40,000 pounds in notes spilled into a busy road. $14,000 are missing and police are urging motorists to return the money to him.
They're not getting that fucking money back. It's the Philippines. They're dirt poor and they walk their chickens to the store. Seriously, they do that.
Look, you have a good point there, but you would not get that money back in America either.
Oh, God, no. But again, I wouldn't steal it because it's probably tainted with Smilex or fentanyl or something else that will kill you. So better safe than sorry. Be like, that's a trap. Nice try, feds.
I would like to say I would return the money, Jack. And in my present condition, I absolutely would return the money. If I was poor enough, I'd probably keep it.
Yeah, most poor people are going to keep this. Let's be real.
If I had a bill due and I didn't know how I was going to pay it, and then I suddenly, there's $1,000 sitting in my front yard, be like, God gave this to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it might have been divine intervention. This is the Philippines. They're very Catholic. Yeah. And look, a lot of people don't make very much money in the Philippines. Like the majority of the population. It's a very poor country.
At least in the Philippines, they aren't filming themselves taking it. That's a good point, Bubba. It's a very good point. Oh, man. Well, I don't understand why this guy is riding around with that much money in a backpack.
Like you trust a bank in a third world country.
He works for an e-wallet loading kiosk at a shopping center. Said he only noticed his backpack zip was broken when it was too late. I saw the money flying from the side mirrors, so I stopped to pick it up. But others were also collecting the money. Hopefully they return it. I don't have the money to pay for all of it. It's not even his money.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, dude. Well, somebody filmed it.
Oh, you know, there's probably a dozen people that filmed it. But look, when you're transporting money, you don't just put stacks of cash in there by themselves. You wrap them up in like stuff. You just wrap them in cellophane, put them in another bag, and then make sure that's secure in another bag, and then you put them in the backpack. You know, just be like, here's a big wad of untaped money.
Footage of the incident shows the traffic coming to a standstill and motorists helping Barrientos pick up the money, but also sadly some that pocketed the cash for themselves. After counting the money, the police said there was around 14,000 missing, despite 3 people already returning bills they'd picked up. In the video, some can be seen walking away from him with a stack of money. The devastated Barrientos needs to pay it back if it won't be returned by those who took it. You're working for free for a while, homie.
Yeah. He's probably losing his job and could be working for free.
Staff Sergeant somebody urged Barrientos to come to the police station to pick up the money handed in so far, but also warned those who took some of the cash for themselves would be tracked down. Yeah, I mean, it is on film there, so maybe they'll get some of it. But by that time, this guy's already fired and he should be fired, frankly.
Yeah, he's irresponsible.
I don't know about having to pay it back. I'm kind of iffy on that, but he certainly should be fired for that. You're not doing your job very well. Probably going to lose a body part, maybe. They cut off his back for stealing.
That dude's gonna go missing.
All right, we are 3 hours in, and I'm falling asleep, dude. I know we got a Rome girl, guys, but she's gonna have to wait for tomorrow. I went long on the story about the asshole who thinks Ruby Ridge was just bad people who got shot by the FBI. What a prick that guy was. So we'll have to do the Mom Millennial one tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining us and staying with us for the 3 hours. A lot of you have been here the whole time, and I love you for it. I love the rest of you for showing up. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so very generous. We really, really do appreciate it. You guys are fucking way too kind to us. Jack, anything you want to show?
I'll drop a link to a recent video. As always, thank you so much for all the donations. Like Monkey said, that keeps the show going, and we do appreciate it. And we appreciate you showing up night after night and listening to all of our nonsense.
Yes.
But I think today was a good show.
Oh, yeah. The last two have been really good. I've really, really enjoyed them.
That's because we're awesome.
Guys, don't forget to tell your friends, your family, that bitch you hate. Get them here watching. Hit that like button on your way out if you haven't done so already. And Jack, a pleasure as always, my friend.
I'm always glad to be here.
Guys, the world's not as bad as you think. So enjoy the parts that you can. I promise you there's stuff out there to smile about. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you all next time.
Bye, everybody.
That was a gay ending, but I wanted to sound happy. When inside I'm dead and want the world to go away. No, it's not true. I love you all.